Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for our live reaction and player ratings live stream following Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0, or rather the other way around, as we were away from home. So Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1 with a very, very, very late winner by the wizard himself, HAKIM ZIYECH. Oh my days. Why do Chelsea have to make everything so difficult? We have to make everything so difficult. I don't understand half the things we do, but hey, you know, the most important thing is that we get the dub, and that's what we did. So fair play. Thank you, HAKIM ZIYECH. Thank you, Marcus Alonso, for great cross, I will say. But yeah, we still have problems, man. Like that second half especially was so bad. I don't understand half the things we do, honestly. Like, everyone knows I love Thomas Tuchel. All of us as fans love Thomas Tuchel. But there's some things the man's been doing for the last few weeks that I'm just like, I don't understand. And if Lampard or Sarri or any of these lot were doing these things without having won the Champions League before, we'd be like, what on earth are you doing? Obviously, he has earned that kind of trust and that kind of, I don't know, free hand almost to do things that we don't understand without getting criticized for it. But it's still weird. Like, why is Havertz playing on the wing and Pulisic playing as a number 8? What? Like, so, I don't understand. And then we finally play a formation that has a number 8, by far Ruben Loftus-Cheek's best position. So you bring him on to play as a 6. Huh? I mean, obviously we won it after that sub, you know, happened, so I guess it worked. But it still confuses me so much. But hey, in the end we won, and thankfully we did. Thankfully we did, because yeah, I don't even want to know what our moods would have been like had we not. Yeah, like honestly, I was fuming. I was already ready to be fuming, and as was Pice, as he told me before the stream. Pice, thank you for coming on. But you said you're extremely glad that we did get the winner in the end. How do you feel, mate?
Just relieved. I'm so relieved. An absolutely terrible game. Yeah, I can't believe I said I was excited for this. I knew it was going to be a difficult game at Selhurst Park, but honestly, we were so poor. As you said, I didn't understand things in the lineup, the formation. You know, even the subs at sort of 70+ minutes, I was thinking, you know, it's leaving it a bit too late. But you know, as I've tweeted, you know, when you often need a moment when the team's playing bad, who's the guy that often turns up is Ziyech. He's the moments guy. He's delivered yet another moment today, and he's had plenty of those for Chelsea. And I think his all-round performance was very good, and I'm happy that, you know, he got the winner, I think, because I was enjoying his overall performance, and I wasn't enjoying many because it was a terrible game. Honestly, it was really, really bad. Yeah, I'm just relieved to get the win.
No, mate, I couldn't agree more. Like, we have way too many clutch players, or not clutch players, but moments players, which is great when they have the moments, but when they don't have the moment, it's very frustrating. But, you know, and I don't even want to push Ziyech into that mold, because for the last 2 weeks, it's not just been moments, he's actually been playing well. Fair play to him. But in general, I 1,000,000% agree. Clutch, thank you for coming as always, bro. Similar thoughts. Obviously, let's see what the people think, but obviously, you know, your favorite boy didn't have his best day. We will get into more details of that later. But does that give you a bit of a downer, or still gassed at the fact that we won it late on?
I think I'm happy that we won it in the end, because I mean, we needed that. I mean, this is something we need, but I keep coming back to, we have to struggle to get these results out, and it's been a while now, and I can't stand playing like that. And it's very confusing to me when you see Pulisic as an 8, Kai as a winger. It's not like we know that doesn't work. We've seen Pulisic as an 8 against, who was it, Chesterfield? Very poor. We've seen Kai as a winger under Lampard. Very poor. It's just, I'm starting to question Thomas Tuchel. As much as I love the guy, it's like, bro, what are you doing? And you said he does have that leeway. We should be giving that leeway. But at some point, we got to start criticizing. Like, you just got to start playing your players in the best position. Understandably, you don't have players that necessarily have a proper position like Havertz. But, I mean, today it just goes to show you, Ziyech was the best player on the pitch, and what happened? He was playing in his best position. Weird how that works, right? I don't know. I'm happy in the end, and then by the end of the stream, I'll probably be fine, because I'm gonna hear Pius and Khan's lovely voices talking me down from the bridge that I'm about to jump off of.
There you go. Thank God you didn't jump off any bridges, because that's not what we want to see. But yeah, no, I do agree. We shouldn't struggle as much as we do. But I'd rather struggle to a win than struggle to not winning. So, you know, I'm still in a better mood than had we played the same and not won. Con, thank you for coming. As always, my good friend. It's been a hot minute since I last spoke to you. So, first of all, I hope you're doing well, my bro. But also, similar thoughts to Pice and Clutch, or does the annoyance outweigh the happiness over the late winner?
Bro, I feel drained. Like, watching that, I felt drained. I felt like I've lost 50 years of my life. It was really bad performance today. It's really poor from a lot of players. Ziyech again, I'm a big fan of him. And then he comes up with the big moment as always, He's literally the only one in the attack we can rely on. And everybody wanted him sold a couple of months ago, Pulisic today was awful. Like, we can say he didn't play in his best position, but the areas he's getting into, like, you don't always have to over dribble, my guy. I don't care. It doesn't matter if you're playing on the left wing, right wing, wherever. Like, just pass the ball. Like, what excuse does Pulisic have of dribbling, then losing the ball, and then trying to get a free kick every single time? He has no excuse. Just pass the ball, man. I'm sick of you over dribbling from you. Like, you're not even as good as Cover as dribbling, but yeah, he passes more than you do. It does my head in. And then Kante today was awful as well. I don't know what's been up with him, but lately he's just looking shocking. Jorginho today, he wasn't awful. He wasn't great either. It's just, bro, I'm just tired of watching these crap performances, to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm glad we got the win, because if we didn't, you'd hear me a lot angrier than I am now. But these performances are really doing my head in, man. I'm just sick of it. 1 minute, like, Kai plays good in the World Cup, and today was arse. Like, people said he did good things. Besides one layoff to Pulisic, he literally wasted everything he did. He'd do a good thing, then do a bad thing straight after. Like, I'm bored of this inconsistency in attack.
Penalty, even though I didn't see anybody claim it, but
I don't know.
The only other thing I can mention. So no, I agree with you.
I genuinely can't remember the last time I watched Chelsea. Like, wow, what a performance this was. Like, can you? Any of you three tell me a time?
Juve. It must be Juve. I can't think of another game since then where we were like really good for 90 minutes.
Something's got to give.
Was crazy.
Something has to give. Either we're going to start picking up performance-wise and start playing a bit better, or we're going to start losing a lot of games. Something has to give, because we can't keep just sneaking a draw and a win here. Something's going to give. You can only ride your luck for so long. Either these guys got to improve, or we're going to get punished for it. And I can't be asked getting in the last day top 4 battle. So they better buck up their ideas.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, for not being involved in any last day top 4 battles, it is good that at least we won the game. As much as we weren't great in terms of performance, at least we won the game. Samuel Sammy with the super chat here, appreciates it very much, saying, well, Tuchel and an angry emoji. Kai's getting wasted. Lukaku, gets no service. I mean, we'll talk about Lukaku later. I'm not sure what the stat was in the end, but at halftime, the guy had 2 touches. And for once, I'm not even going to just blame him for that. There's multiple people that fall for that. But whoever you blame for it, whether it's Lukaku, whether it's his teammates, whether it's Tuchel, it doesn't matter. Fact is, it's a problem, and we need to fix it, because you can't have a player on the pitch that has 2 touches unless it's your goalkeeper. Like, that's the only player that's acceptable to only have 2 touches and a half. Especially when you're like the dominant team. It's not like we were Burnley playing Man City here, where it's like, okay, the striker doesn't really see the ball. Fair enough, it is what it is. But come on, like, what are we doing? It's honestly baffling. And in a way, I see what Con said. Honestly, in a way, I see it like, one day someone's great, one day someone's bad, but at the same time, it's like, I don't expect anything else from when Kai Havertz plays in the left. Like, honestly. And then as soon as he was in the middle later on in the game, he was 50 times as useful as he was for the entire 70 minutes before that in the whole game. Other than when he, in my opinion, should have won a penalty when he ran through the 2 players. Clearly got fouled, sure, but he kept running and then was fouled again in the box. So why did you call it back to the first foul and not the second foul? I don't understand. But anyway, in the end, we won, so it wouldn't have changed anything. But still, Pulisic midfield, again, I'm just confused. I mean, let me get the lineup up on screen. Apparently, which I was unaware how people could have different opinions about this, because I thought it was very obvious. But we played our 4-3-3, 4-1-4-1, whatever formation you want to call it, with a little bit of a hint of 4-2-3-1 in there. But we'll get to that in a minute. Some people apparently thought we played a back 3. We didn't, but sure. So that was basically the main lineup we had. Obviously, sometimes in defense, Kante dropped next to Jorginho. And when very attacking, he went fully up next to Pulisic. But in the end, he was kind of like caught in between a little bit. But yeah, a few pieces of injury news that we do need to cover. I'm still not sure. I read something about Hudson-Odoi. I'm not sure if that was true. I hope it wasn't. But anyway, so Mason Mount was unavailable today. Azpilicueta came out to be a doubt late last night after the preview stream. In the end, wasn't involved in the squad one at all. Weirdly, was said yesterday that Werner would be out of the game, but then he did make the bench. Didn't come on, but still, he did make the bench, so that's weird. Obviously, Reece James and Ben Chilwell we know about, but then also Callum Hudson-Odoi didn't feature. Now, Pice, do you happen to know why Callum Hudson-Odoi didn't feature?
I do not, but I did read something which said it was like a knock or something. I think that's what Tuchel said, right?
Okay, good. Well, Clutch said the Jester joke was not true because I read something. I was like, really? He basically said he cut himself in the finger just by doing something. I was like, really? That's why you're not playing from a cut in the finger? No, okay. He got injured, fair enough. But then that's just unfortunate. But that's essentially what that means, depending on how long he's going to be out for. That's just more injury drama. Again, we just got over it, man. And we're back in the injury drama. It's pissing me off. But hey, reactions to the lineup when it initially came out, Pice?
Confused. I was trying to work out the formation. Thought it was initially a 4-2-2, but
yeah,
it was more like a 4-1-4-1. It definitely wasn't like as you have it now. It was more like you're doing now because Lukaku was so isolated.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Like Lukaku, you could literally put Lukaku in the penalty spot, and Ziyech and Pulisic and Kante
playing with 10 men.
Yeah, literally. Like, everyone else is on the fucking halfway line, and
he was offside half the time as well. So
bro, like it was. I didn't like it. I mean, Tuchel's been doing a lot of experimenting lately, but with that personnel that we had out there today, don't want to see that again because that was horrible. Like even in the second half, Havertz wasn't. There wasn't any tactical changes from what I could notice. That Havertz didn't move close to Lukaku, or you know what I mean. Like nothing was changed. Like Havertz was still out on the left hand side. Pulisic just still in centre mid. Like you know what I mean.
They just flipped Kante and Pulisic to the right center mid, and then Kante was left center mid in the second half.
That was second,
which worked even worse.
As you can see, like it took like the middle of the park. They just had no idea. Like it took Kovacic to come on and play one fucking through ball. One pass forward, you know what I mean? Like it literally.
What's that Kovacic ball to Lukaku when he was offside?
To Lukaku, yeah. The one like straight away he passed forward. These guys were not passing forward as content. Pulisic was over dribbling. Kante was like I don't know what he was doing, passing sideways the whole time, taking too long. Like where was the urgency? Like Havertz was losing the ball, so like it reminded me of Havertz's debut against Brighton today. Like. Was you half asleep? Like, you know what I mean? Like, be sharp, be snappy. Like, I don't know what the guy was on. Like, it was like, it was so confusing, bro. I don't understand what was wrong with these guys.
Yeah, no, honestly. And I mean, what Tuchel said after the game now, please don't sound like Klopp, because that sounds like Klopp. He explains that jet lag, cold, and lack of sleep after Abu Dhabi were reasons for Chelsea's subpar display today. He said he didn't expect much from his team. Bro, we flew back from Abu Dhabi the same night of the game. We've been back in London since Monday. It's Saturday, and you're talking to me about jet lag and lack of sleep. Well, then give them a bit of melatonin and send them to bed, for flip's sake. What is that?
And they have 2 days off, too.
It doesn't even matter. Like, you can't talk about jet lag when you've been home since Monday and the time difference is 3 hours. What is that? Like, sorry. Don't turn into Klopp, man. Like, that's unacceptable.
No, I think to be honest, like, I can see why he's saying that. Like, it's not an excuse, but like, he's trying to protect his players at the end of the day.
I can see that too, but it still sounds like Klopp. Klopp probably always wants to protect his players as well, I assume, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think, maybe it's a bit more understandable when you're in the situation. As much as we like to banter Klopp, I mean, he is just protecting his players at the end of the day. I don't think he'll be happy behind the scenes. I mean, he definitely didn't look happy on the bench. So, if he didn't expect much from his team, he wouldn't be, pointing fingers and throwing his arms up in the air. Because on my stream, it kept cutting scenes to him, and he wasn't happy. So I think that's just more media work.
No, of course it is. Obviously, behind the scenes, he would be unhappy and he wouldn't use those excuses. But I don't want him to say those excuses publicly, because there will be some people that will take those excuses and will excuse the players being shit. But they shouldn't have these excuses. They just need to do better. But then, like, again, I mean, decisions. Why did Kovacic not start? Again, we had a week off since the last game. Why would you drop your on form alongside Ziyech, best player? Why? Like, sorry, why? I do not understand. Con, let me get to you. Your reaction initially when the lineup came out, did you also think it was a 4-2-2 or 4-4-2 initially?
When I saw the lineup, I thought it was a 4. I thought it was going to either be a 4-2-2 or 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. I knew it weren't going to be back five with Sarr and Christensen as wing backs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw 4 centre backs. I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun game, innit?
And yeah, you say that. Malang Sarr played one of the top 5 passes any Chelsea's players played this season. Like, what a ball to Kante. What a man Malang Sarr is. We'll get to that in a minute. But wow, what a ball. I was like, oh my days. But Clutch, your reaction to the lineup. Obviously, when the game started, you and I were debating, is it a 4-3-3 or 4-1-4-1, whatever you want to call it? Is it a 4-2-3-1? I guess it was a little bit of a mix of both, even though I still think for the most part, Kante was too high to be called to be in the double pivot with Georgie.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I probably would have rather it have been the 4-2-2-2, but
Yeah. I mean, that's what we played for the last 20 minutes, and that's when we actually played acceptable football.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of things in hindsight didn't work, and I'm starting to think if Mount isn't available to play one of those 8 roles, I don't really want to see the back 4. I don't know why I'm thinking that, because I mean, other than Kovacic and Mount, who's going to play at 8? Maybe Ruben, but I thought Ruben was really terrible when he came on.
Also, he didn't play as an 8 when he came on.
Yeah, true. But also, that's probably rust. For me, yeah, no. I mean, it was more or less what I expected. I figured we'd come out kind of like that, but it just didn't work. And I'm tired. It's tired now.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Yeah, what was my thoughts? Like I said, I didn't understand why Kovacic didn't start. Obviously, but like when the team came out, I didn't expect Pulisic to be as a number 8. But when I realized that, I was like, again, confused. People in the chat already debating, was Kante awful? Was he great? Was he acceptable? I don't know. What was certainly unacceptable is that he missed the 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. And what makes it even more unacceptable...
fucking awful. You just have to say it how it is. He was fucking awful.
I'm not sure if he was overall awful.
He was so bad. I don't understand the use for him in these type of games. Just don't play him.
I agree.
What's the use for him? What does he offer? Like, he's a big game player. I've said this for ages. Not even just this season, last season as well. Like, what's the point in playing Kante against someone like Crystal Palace? Like, what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just pointless. What's he doing?
Yeah, it's just. Because to me, it's like you say, what's the point in these games? Because we're not going to be defensive enough for him to be able to use his superior defensive abilities that he has, because he's also playing too high up the pitch to really stop any counterattack. So we can't even use that much, with a few exceptions. Obviously, there was a couple of occasions where he did, stop counterattacks with good tackles. And the other problem is when he plays an 8 role, he had our best chance for an open play other than the Ziyech goal, essentially, right? So that's the problem. I don't want Kante to be in front of the goalkeeper. And everyone in the chat that says Kante was decent, though, you're saying that because Kante's in midfield and you don't expect him to score. And that's exactly why I don't want him to play in positions where he could score. Because then when he doesn't, people give him excuses. But everybody else that plays, if they don't take the chance, they'd be going in on them in the chat everywhere, on Twitter, all sorts. But because it's Kante and, we don't expect him to score, that's why you're not angry at him for it. But that's my whole point. Don't play him in the position where he can get into that role where he can score, because he doesn't. I know he scored some good goals over the years, but man, he scored 6, 7, 8 goals over 4 years. Like, it's not like a lot. Or by 2 or 3 of them have been very good. But still, that's my annoyance with it. There's no point him being that high up the pitch. Yes, he can dribble. Yes, sometimes he plays a good ball, but he doesn't do it any better than Kovacic, does he? So what's the logic in playing him over Kovacic? That's the problem. I'm not saying Kante is necessarily absolutely awful at doing this, but he's not as good as some other players we have that didn't start. And that's, to me, very confusing. Very, very confusing. For once, you know what? Because last time we did the whole thing and we did the defenders first, and we ended up, in my opinion, with ratings that were quite a bit too high. So I think this time we'll start up top. Why not? Also, we have a lot of people tuned in right now, pretty much 300 people. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do subscribe if you haven't already. What have I just seen here? By Opta, obviously the statistics website, whatever. 7. Romelu Lukaku had just 7 touches against Crystal Palace, the fewest in a single Premier League game for a player with 90+ minutes played since this data is available in full for the competition since 2003-04. One of these touches was from kickoff in the first half. He's had 6 touches, essentially. Fucking brilliant. I mean, to be fair, his touch didn't count then. There would have kind of been an assist for Ziyech because he was offside. Again, so you're not even just not involved. When you are involved, you're offside. I mean, that's outrageous. But it fits the conversation because I said we're going to start up top. So, Romelu Lukaku. I'll let you go first, Clutch. How much of him not doing anything today, having only 7 touches in 90 plus minutes. How much of that do you think was his fault? How much of that do you think is other people's fault? Like, and how would you, I guess in the end then, would you rate him for it?
I kind of describe it like this. It's a 50-50 relationship out there. You have to have players who get the ball, but Lukaku, when he's not getting the ball from said players, because you have a Pulisic or a Kante, or they're not Kovacic, who's going to create those threading passes to get the ball to you, then you got to come back and get it. Like, he never once made a decision that I was going to come back. He was rooted. He was rooted where he is right there on the screen and didn't move. And that is the biggest problem with Lukaku. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell people, oh, yeah, he had 7 touches. What do you want him to do? I want him to go get the ball. Every other striker on the planet is going to go get the ball. He doesn't. Why? Because he wants the easy goal. This is why people call him lazy. It's because he doesn't move. I'm not going to give him the excuse that, oh, yeah, you didn't get the ball, so it's not really his fault. Then go get it. Every other striker does it. Kane comes back. Haaland, Benzema, all of them come back. Why don't you? So I'd rate him a 2. He's going to be the lowest on the field for me.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Conor, I'll go to you next. 7 touches. It's not good enough, is it?
Well, one of those was a kickoff, so it's really 6, isn't it?
Yeah, true, yeah.
I can't be asked, bro. I feel like I say the same thing about this guy all the time. It's getting to the point where it hurts my head how he lasts 90 minutes on the pitch. I don't get it, Laurenz, bro. Can you tell me what he offers to last that long and why he's always started, man? Like, why, bro? Like, I can keep saying the same things, but what's the point, man? It's driving me insane. Like, Tuchel, bro. Do you know the definition of insanity, my guy? You're doing the same thing over and over and again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. And I love Tuchel. He's probably biggest advocate out there, but stop doing this thing with Lukaku, man. We're a worse team with him in the team. Whether that's his fault or not, I don't care. But the fact is, when Lukaku plays, we are worse. And I'm fucking sick and tired of seeing it, man. Just start someone else there, bench him for a bit, and I guarantee performances improve a little bit. How can you ask for intensity when the guy who you paid 100 mil for up top doesn't bring any? He's rooted like a tree. For me,
he really is rooted like a tree, man. He honestly is.
Bro, the wind here in England, bro, has moved the trees more than Lukaku moved today. Swear to God. I'll give him a 2.
That's good. Very good. Fair play. Another 2. Pice. Lukaku.
Yeah, sort of on the same lines as the other 2. However, like I do think the overall play from our attackers was really poor today. I do think there's more balance to it. I think like they didn't get the ball to him at all. Like they didn't even try to use him. Like it's not even a case of like, yeah, they tried to use him and pop balls into his feet and stuff like that. They just didn't. They didn't use him at all. They ignored him several times and just played out wide instead. We didn't really have any crosses going into the box either. Like we bought Crystal Palace bought Jack Butland on in the second half, and we didn't even get into positions to test the keeper, like at all. Like he was having a field day out there. You know what I mean?
These men played FIFA 19 too much. They were scared of Jack Butland, bro.
Bro, like genuinely, like I don't understand. Like, yeah, Lukaku is rooted and stuff, but at the same time, like I get the frustrations, but you've got to like at least use him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not like, what's the point in having him out there? He's so isolated up top on his own. Like, it's what I don't get. Like, it comes down to the recruitment team as well. Like, bro, like Lukaku needs to play next to someone. Like, he needs to have someone next to him. Like, he's too isolated on his own. At least if he's on his own, like you play players near him, like on the wide forwards. Like play Havertz. You know, he can kind of play on the left hand side, but not really. You know, kind of play him nearer to him, so he can, you know, you can link up. There's no room to link up today. Like it was ridiculous. Like the midfield was the main guys that were supposed to get the ball into Lukaku, and they didn't. Like it just went out wide constantly. Like there's 2 sides to every argument. It's not just Lukaku's fault. Like you've got to make the team has got to make more of an effort to make it work for him as well. Yes, he needs to do more. Yes, he needs to maybe drop deep off the ball, but that's not his game anyway. Like you're asking him to turn into a Harry Kane or someone. That's not Lukaku. Don't blame Lukaku for not doing that. You know what I mean? Like yeah, that's not him. It's like asking.
Are we gonna blame Pulisic in a minute for not being a good 8 either?
No, because with Pulisic, he over dribbled, and that's one thing that.
And
that
Lukaku
Tuchel
didn't
has said.
even try to get the ball. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're right, by the way. I think either we apply that to all players or no players.
No, I disagree. Because
no, he's spot on, Pies, because you can't say, Pulisic over dribble when Lukaku didn't drop deep. Playing a striker, how many strikers?
Lukaku's not supposed to drop deep, bro. That's not.
Bro, can do it. Bro, Hyde's a teenager and he can do it.
Any striker, let me ask Pies something.
It's like asking a dog to
I'm
be a
not saying
cat,
it should
bro.
be his main attribute, Pies, but when you're not getting any service and you've had 2 touches in the first 45 minutes, whether it's your game or not, shouldn't any striker at least drop sometimes? I'm not saying sit around the center circle like Harry Kane does, obviously, but don't just do the same type of movement every time. When he was like, okay, waiting with 2 center backs, as soon as someone received the ball, he tried to make a run. 9 times out of 10 he was offside and he made a bad run. At least sometimes drop it, because it makes it a bit more difficult for the center backs to predict what you're going to do. Number 2, when he drops, the centre back will come with him, which opens space for either Pulisic or Havertz or Ziyech to make runs in the space that he created by dropping. But if he always stays there and never gets the ball anyway, like I said, you're right. It's not his game, so it shouldn't be like his main thing. But when it's not working, no player should. If it's not working at all, no player should just sit there. Yeah, I'll keep doing what I'm doing anyway. Like,
Laurenz, can I make a point? This guy. Bro, this guy came in at the start of the season and goes, I want to be in one of the top 5 debates when we talk about strikers. Like, how can you put yourself in there if you can't drop deep? Like, you're having a laugh. If you're going to put yourself on that pedestal, then do the basics of a striker in modern day football. I'm not having this excuse, he can't drop deep, it's not his game. He's a 100 mil player who put himself up there with Benzema and Lewandowski. Why are you putting yourself in that company if you can't do the basics? I'm not asking him to drop deep, do Cruyff turns and stuff like that. No, I'm asking you just to drop deep, just to get on the ball. Run the channel, just move. He doesn't move. He stands still, rooted to the spot. And he doesn't want to be a target man. All right, then move then. Because you can't be a target man. You don't like being a target man. But when we ask you to move and do other stuff, you don't want to do that either. Then what does he want to do then? Because if he doesn't want to play as a target man and he can't drop deep or anything, what can he do? Please tell me, what can he do?
I haven't seen it, because the one shot he had when he was offside as well, that wasn't good either. That was the easiest save.
He doesn't want to play as a lone striker. That's what he doesn't want to do. He wants to play with someone up top. That's what he wants to do.
I'm sure other players don't want to do other things, but they ended up doing it. So.
That's why he did the interview in the first place. Is because he did the whole thing about the. I thought things were going to be different.
He hadn't even played yet. He was still injured.
No,
why is my man complaining about formations while he was injured?
Because he obviously, as I said to you, if we go back to the interview, and one of the things I said was, he obviously was told by someone, by maybe multiple people, it was obviously, maybe not planned right, but he was obviously told and convinced that we were going to play a different way with him. Whatever that way was, I still think it was someone, I don't know, on the recruitment team or Tuchel, or I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. But someone obviously told him that our main formation next season with him will be with 2 strikers to get the best out of it. He is not a lone striker in a possession-based team. You can bro. I was watching a fucking Lukaku comp from Inter Milan. All his goals were on fucking transitions and counter-attacks with 2 strikers where he could link up with them. He doesn't
He's frustrating as fuck for Everton, by the way. I'm just saying.
But that's so long. That was ages ago, bro.
It was. I don't disagree with you.
I get the frustration.
He probably is better in the front 2, and I don't disagree that he probably prefers to be in the front 2. But even when it's not your ideal formation, and even when it's not, because there's a much less of a difference for Lukaku in this role than there is, say, whether Ziyech plays this system or in a 4-3-3. Much bigger difference in what his role is. For Lukaku, whether you're in a 1 or a 2, the only difference is that the guy next to you is just a bit further away. It doesn't really change that drastically, because we don't play like Burnley where we just punt it. That's not what we do anyway. So I agree. Maybe it would suit him better for a 2, although when we've played a 2, he's not been any better either. But I'm sure he would prefer. I'm sure he would. But surely his minimum should still be better when not in a 2. Do you know what I mean? I get it, what you're saying, but still, what he's doing as a single striker is still not good enough, regardless of whether he prefers.
What do you want him to do, though? He's been targeted by 2-3 defenders. Even if you pop the ball into him, right? Even if you pop the ball into him, all he's going to do, because of the formation we play, because he's got no support up there, all he can possibly do is just lay it off out wide. That's all he has done for us. Like, you can't expect him to put the ball into his feet, turn, beat 2 players, and score a goal. That it's
Why
not
not?
FIFA.
But that's what he said he was going to do.
It's
Yeah,
not
Pies.
FIFA, guys. It's
Pies.
come on, stop being.
Pies,
No,
stop
you
saying
ruined
that,
it.
bro.
No, hold on.
You
Pies,
did it against
wait, can
Inter
I just make a
Milan
point
2 weeks
quickly?
ago.
So I wanted to make a point
Bro,
just really quickly.
you guys
Pies,
are so
he's
naive, it's
no,
ridiculous.
Pies. He said it himself. Stop. No, can you stop defending the guy? If I said I can do this and I can't do it and I get criticised for it, I deserve to get that criticism. If I say I can do that and I don't do it and I can't do it and people criticize that of me, how can anyone defend me for saying? I said it out my own mouth. Lukaku said, "I will do anything the man asks of me." He moaned about it and did an interview when he got told to do something that he didn't prefer to do. And then he's saying he's this complete player who wants to be up there with the likes of Benzema and all that. He clearly isn't. And then how can you defend that? He said it himself. It's not like we expected it of him, Pies.
He called himself multi-dimensional. Like,
If he didn't say this himself, then everything you say, Fez, I won't complain about it. We're using it wrong. But the fact he come out and said it himself and he acted like he was the man, I mean, he clearly ain't.
Bro, I still don't rate him that
can't
highly.
defend that.
But there's two sides to every story. You've got to have balance. Like, it's not just Lukaku's fault, bro. Like, these guys are not good enough. Like, you see when Kovacic comes on, bro, straight away.
Bro, you say it ain't his fault, but he said he can do it himself.
None of our players have any connection with him apart from Kovacic.
He doesn't move.
Bro,
is that just
he
the
moved
other
when
player's
Kovacic
fault?
came on, right? He moved when Kovacic came on. He found an
Yeah,
easy
okay,
pass.
yeah.
I know he was offside.
But he
you
was
know what
also
I mean?
offside
These-
for that pass.
I
So
don't
even
care.
that pass with Kovacic, Lukaku's through.
I don't care. They still had the connection. They still knew
Sure, but
they
he
knew
didn't.
exactly what they was doing straight away.
He
Lukaku
ruined
doesn't
that
know what
too,
Havertz is going to do. Lukaku doesn't know what Ziyech is going to do. Lukaku doesn't know what Kante is going to do. There's not enough connections with Lukaku in this team. It is not just his fault. You guys have to understand.
No, you're right. I agree. It's
No, I'm not
just his
accepting it. Well, no, of course it's not just his fault. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be harsh on my criticism because one, he disrespected my club, so fuck him for doing that. Secondly, he put himself on the pedestal. I didn't do that for him. He did that himself. So again, fuck him for doing that. And then sadly, I have to watch him game after game after game stink up the pitch. Tuchel doesn't want to do anything with him. I don't know what's going through Tuchel's mind because I'm sick of seeing Lukaku stink up this team. We're worse than we were last season. How can anyone keep defending him? He's 100 million who's got such an ego and such an insecure little bitch because anytime he gets a bit of criticism, he cries, he deletes his Instas and stuff like that, and he goes and does interviews. How can people defend that? What has he done to get your loyalty to do that, Pies? What has he done at Chelsea
Bro,
to get that loyalty?
I'm just trying.
And when he was first sold, bro, why did he leave?
Point.
Because he went up to Mourinho and he said he didn't want to be here anymore. He couldn't
Bro,
hack missing a penalty.
I'm not
I'm
judging
done with
games.
Lukaku, man.
Bro, I was like this. I was very frustrated, but I'm now seeing the bigger picture. Like, we have Lukaku for the next few years, okay? So you better get used to it. You better start looking for more ways. Like Tuchel's
Bro, I'm
doing.
telling you now, I will top myself before I get used to it. Swear to God.
Tuchel
I can't deal with it.
He is a part of the solution. He's not going anywhere.
Part of the solution. What's that? To fucking make me top myself. Yeah, that's a great solution. That is. Like, no, I can't deal with Lukaku. I can't. Can you hear me now? Like, I was all like, just couldn't be arsed. But this is the level of anger I get because it's week after week, performance after performance, where he stinks. And then people come and make excuses for him for stuff he admitted himself that he could do. And he can't deliver what he promised. He snaked the club.
Stink, but the other players stink as well. Havertz stinks as
well.
But
they didn't come out and disrespect us. They didn't put themselves on that pedestal. Did Pulisic say he was the LeBron James of soccer? No, he didn't. Kai Havertz didn't call himself generational. Lukaku said he's a top 5 striker. He said he's complete. He says he'll do anything the manager asks of him. So that's him saying it. And when he's not doing it week after week after week, and it looks like he doesn't care, he doesn't give a rat's ass about his performance. Why am I going to be like, I'm going to be patient? I can't deal with it.
Havertz said in the summer after the Champions League final goal, he was going to push on this season. Like, he scored a couple of clutch goals. What has he done? Like, I can throw it back to you on one of the players you like.
Still better than Lukaku, though.
Okay, so you say Lukaku and Kai Havertz have had equal opportunity then, yeah?
Havertz has had plenty of opportunities in the Premier League. He's been shit in the Premier League. He's a good cup game player, but I'm just trying to throw things back to you, bro. Like, it's not all on Lukaku. Like, did
you not hear me earlier say about Havertz? He did good things and then he did bad. I grilled him, by the way. It's not like I didn't, but I get this level of angry with Lukaku because he drops stinker after stinker. And I don't know how many times we have to talk about the same things. I guarantee anyone listening right now, you can go back and hear Laurenz saying he doesn't move, me do with this high voice shouting. The same things, you listen it week after week, we say the same things on this channel about Lukaku. It doesn't change. Of course we're frustrated. How many more excuses do I have to hear for this guy?
The team around him doesn't change either, bro. The team around him doesn't change either. They don't.
It doesn't. But they didn't say they could do all this. He did. He put himself on the pedestal. That's the difference, guys. Fairs, I get what you're saying. He's
gonna hype himself up, bro. He just had an amazing season at Inter Milan. Like, you know what I mean? He backs himself.
Yeah, so,
obviously,
no,
he's lost a lot of confidence. And now everyone's gonna judge on emotion every single game he plays bad, or you know what I mean? That's the problem with this interview. Is no one can be balanced anymore. Everyone's just so angry and emotional.
But let me give you an example, bro. If you say to your girl, "All right, I'm gonna rock your world tonight," you go there. After 2 minutes, she's left there disappointed. Are you gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, I was low on confidence today"? And like, no. If you big yourself up, you've got to deliver. It's as simple as that. You have to deliver if you hype yourself up. Or otherwise, just keep quiet and do your thing in peace. You know. If he doesn't talk this season, do you think any of us react like this with Lukaku?
You can't expect him to score a goal with fucking zero service and a shit formation. Like, I don't understand.
I expect him to move though. Do you know in the first for 20 minutes he didn't register a heat map. In the first 20 minutes he didn't register any heat. And he's telling me, how is that healthy? He doesn't move. This is why he's gaining weight because he doesn't move. Do some cardio. Get them legs burning, man.
Bro, chat, man, as well. To the chat, I'm not fucking trying, even though it comes across, I'm defending Lukaku. I'm just trying to be balanced and look at both sides of the story.
But you just said the formation
Lukaku pisses me off as well. Like, Lukaku pisses me off as well. Don't worry about it still.
He was shit in any formation we were shit in any formation we gave him so far. Like, it didn't matter the formation. You can't just say, because the formation is all of a sudden shit. 2 weeks ago, we were saying the formation is amazing. Like,
I just think there's too many dead players overall, bro. Like, I think he's just become.
I agree, but the problem is he's one of them. Like, I agree with that, but he's one of them.
But he's the easy one to target because no one wants to go after the others because they're fan favorites.
But Pius, here's my question to you: if you're not getting service
with Mount as well, bro, like you can't come at Mount, you can't come at Havertz, you can't come at Kante, can't come at Jorginho. But you can come at Lukaku though, because obviously he did that interview. That's why no one can be balanced anymore. You know,
to be fair, there are a lot of people that defend Lukaku too. I mean, but here's the thing. My question is, if it's there's somebody in this channel that comes in here and comes after Laurenz pretty much every time he streams, talking about you hate Lukaku so much. And actually, I see it on Twitter too. If you see it, this has just become a Lukaku stream. That's all. I mean, Laurenz gets it all the time. But here's the question: if you're not getting service as a striker, what do you do? You're supposed to come back and get it. If that's not your game, then literally be like, oh, look, I'm not getting any service. I need to be subbed off. Because you're not helping.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not helping. But he is sitting there saying, oh, I'm all these things, but I'm not going back. If you're not going to go get the ball, then fine, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. But you need to get off the pitch, and you need to be the first one to take yourself off. Havertz is going to come back and get the ball, and we're going to look better. But if we're literally playing with 10 men with him on the field. And we can't keep doing that. I understand it is a 50-50. The team does need to get the ball to him. But Pulisic and Kante are not going to be the ones to do that. Ziyech is going to be the only one on the field to do that.
Havertz, when he starts up top, bro, is a completely different style of play. You have different movements, different things he does that are different to Lukaku. Like, that's just your preference of how
No, I agree. They are different. No, but it works better with our...
That's when we actually look like playing with 11 men. Because Kai Havertz doesn't have 6 touches in a game. Like I'm not saying Kai's not everything you said there. I think is crazy. Some things made sense.
Bro, I'm not defending him either.
I don't think today was the time to bring up those defenses of him when he had 6 touches.
Bro, but
6 touches is inexcusable no matter what the reason. Do you know what I mean? 6 touches, bro. Come on.
I don't know. We hardly passed the ball forward today, to be honest. So, how do you expect the striker to get touches when you didn't make any line-breaking passes to him, apart from when Kovacic came on?
He was offside.
Yeah, but that's just do you know? He literally got subbed on and he was through. If we played Kovacic,
but he was offside. You can't just ignore it because Timo Werner was stated every time when he was offside.
Would we be having this discussion today about Lukaku's touches if Kovacic started? No, that's the answer. No.
We're still having a bad conversation about Lukaku because you'd stink, bro. It's the reality. We still would.
He would be more involved in the play if Kovacic started. That's facts. You guys can't accept that.
So Lukaku playing well is dependent on Kovacic. 100
Right
million
now,
players.
yes. Right now, yes.
So
because
he
Kovacic has the only relationship with him. Maybe Ziyech at times, but not today because Ziyech was too far out
But whose
wide.
job is it to make that relationship with the other players?
It's like
They're
me going
not
to a
wanting to
restaurant.
pass.
But it's a 50-50 thing, bro. Like, it's not just Lukaku. Like, oh yeah, Ziyech. Oh yeah, Havertz, mate. Yeah.
But that's what I said.
Can you just make me work?
No,
Like,
but
you know
see,
what
I don't
mean?
even agree it's a 50-50 because I think when you sign a new player and a new player comes into an existing team, I don't think it's 50-50. I think the new player needs to adapt to the team more than the team needs to adapt to the new player.
Exactly. Yeah, of course.
I'm not saying
like,
the team doesn't have to adapt at all, but it's not 50-50.
yeah, you come in and you say you can play any way the manager wants. We just won the Champions League. You come in, you have to try more. That's the problem. That's why a lot of us get annoyed. It's not the fact that he stinks, because a lot of our players, like Pius said, they stink in games. It's the fact that he doesn't even look like he tries or cares half the time. And that's the problem. That's why we get so frustrated, because when you're just standing there, like if you go into a restaurant and you're waiting like an hour for your food, you're just going to carry on sitting there like an idiot. No, you're going to go and ask where it is. Like Lukaku, go and ask for the ball. Move yourself, you know?
Any
Stop
one of
being
us four can
lazy.
stand there for 90 minutes. That's not hard.
Yeah, just move. That's all we want from you, Lukaku. Just put a bit of effort into the game. That's all we ask, man. Cool. Yes, players should play it to him a bit more. We get that. And I even said that at half time. But at the same time, you need to do more. You can't just stand still for 90 minutes. Move around the pitch. It's not like he can't drop deep, because he can. He does it for Belgium. He can drop deep. He just chooses not to. I don't know why. Johnny, is he being instructed just to stand there? I don't know. But he just doesn't show that much effort. And that's where the frustrations go for. Because if you don't look like you're not going to care on the pitch, then we ain't going to care if we criticise you, you know? We ain't going to care how harshly we go in. Why should we? If you don't care, we don't care. Same energy, innit?
Because I will say one other thing, right? We can talk about the touches so well and good. The touches weren't enough. But even in those 6 or 7 touches that he had only had a 66% pass accuracy. Nowhere near good enough. He had 2 ground duels, lost both. He had 2 aerial duels, lost both. So, like, even if you say he doesn't get the ball enough, which I agree with, when he gets it, he doesn't do anything with it. Like, the stats tell you that. And the stats don't just tell you that today. I mean, like, I'm not as extreme on the criticism of Lukaku today as Con was, just because 2 things. I mean, I said it in the preview yesterday. He did what we signed him to do in the last 2 games in the Club World Cup. It was the Club World Cup. It was less opponents, but he did what he was supposed to do. He did it. Fair play. He also seemed into it and up for it when, you know, Kai took the penalty. He was celebrating. So he looked like he cared, at least in that moment. But to me, you could, like, I agree with Pice that it's also down to the rest of the team to give him the ball more. But the problem is when you give him you try to give him the ball, and then the pass is half the time when we try to pass to him, the pass is going intercepted. And so then what? Like, if he's only ever in the same spot and then the passes to him get intercepted, then you automatically stop passing to him if he doesn't go somewhere else. Because if he doesn't go somewhere else, then those passes will always get intercepted. And, like, there was one other occasion, he got an over-the-top ball. It wasn't a great over-the-top ball, mind you, but he got an over-the-top ball. He had to run to the not touchline, to the, you know, goal line, but not the goal line. What's that called? The line, but next to the goal. Do you know what I mean?
The byline.
Is it byline? And the other side is the touchline. You're right. Thank you, God. A ball was bouncing. The centre-back is with him. Lukaku doesn't control it, even though he could have. Just take one step forward, chest it, control it. You have the centre-back behind you. You can hold him off. You're strong. You're big. That's what your job is supposed to be, right? He lets it bounce over him. He's 6'3", but he let it bounce over him to the defender. And then he tried to run after him and fell over. Like, come on. Like, that's just not it. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care. Like, even if we got him for free, I would criticize that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're getting to a point where he's so bad where I don't even care about the 100 million anymore. Because even if we got him for free, I'd say that's unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at Malang Sarr. We got him for free, and he's playing better passes than Lukaku has in his entire career. Like, obviously, that might be an exaggeration. I don't know what passes Lukaku's played all his career, but certainly at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's I might not have even gone as harsh as Con and Clutch. I would have probably gone 3, but just for the fact that when you don't touch the ball, yeah, you should have done better to touch the ball, but there's less to do wrong when you don't even touch the ball. But when he did, he also did it wrong, to be fair. So It's not great. It really isn't great. But like I said, I might not have been quite as harsh price. You never gave me a rating. Where would you have gone with the rating for him?
I know it's a hard one because I do see both points. I don't know, like 3 or 4 maybe. I don't know.
Fair. Do we do half points? Yes. But let's give him a 2.5 then. Here we are. Let's get things on a slightly more positive note, and let's get to probably all of our man of the match. HAKIM ZIYECH, the man that scored the goal. And Jester, do not worry. I did not miss and not see your super chat. I appreciate it very much, but there was nothing about Lukaku in this. So I was like, well, we talk about Lukaku. I'm going to hold it for later. Here are some stats for you. HAKIM ZIYECH, 77 touches, I presume that means. What does PL mean? Does anyone know what PL means?
Possession lost.
Possession lost 31 times. Dribbling, 12 with, I presume, 4 of them being successful. Pulisic had 56 touches, I presume. 19 times he lost the ball. Attempted 5 dribbles, lost it 4 times. Havertz had 47 touches, lost the ball 17 times, had 0. Sorry, Chester, but that's then not wrong. They're not right. Because Kai Havertz had a dribble, in my opinion, should have won a penalty from it. He literally dribbled through 2 players, then got fouled, but still kept going, and then only lost the ball. So he clearly had a dribble. So don't know where these stats are from.
I think they counted that as a foul because he didn't get through the 2 players colliding into him when he went through.
But then
them.
it's still a
that
dribble,
counted as.
and isn't that? So
I think it only counts as a dribble if you get by them or lose the ball. I think that's
what
the
do
only
you
thing
define
that
a dribble as, mate? When you're fouled, is it not a successful dribble?
I mean, that's what I would define it as, but
There
the
you go.
SofaScore thinks so. That's all I'm saying. That's what they describe it as. I would agree with you, though.
No, fair enough then. But still, and that's where you have the dribbling stat for Pulisic from then, because those stats where he was apparently fouled, which isn't always bad, but when we're in transition, sometimes it's annoying when you always get fouled, because like it's good against Porto when we're sitting on a lead from the first leg, but it's not good when you're chasing a goal. Stop falling over every time. Stop getting fouled. And if then those things don't show up, of course the dribble stat will look good, because you don't see that, because apparently if you get fouled, it doesn't count. So that's weird. But Jester does also say at the end, not saying Pulisic was good, by the way, 4.5, which is probably along the lines where I'd go. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But still, it shows that HAKIM ZIYECH, he lost the ball a few too many times. But why did HAKIM ZIYECH lose the ball a few too many times? Because he was the only one actually trying anything useful, in my opinion. He is. But today, like, he scored the winner, and he scored, obviously, the tap-in from Lukaku's rebound, but Lukaku was offside. But he scored the goal. I don't think it was ZIYECH's best game, but it was a good game, and he was certainly better than the other players. The only thing I didn't like was there was not enough. Like, whenever he received the ball, not that it's his fault, but he had to go backwards so many times. Like, while we criticize a lot of our players, I think we also need to mention Palace were good. Like, Palace are really good at pressing. Like, Palace gave us no space anywhere on the pitch. It didn't matter where we had the ball. We never had space. Never. If we only press like Palace, where's the Thomas Tuchel football going where we press? I swear we haven't pressed in months. I want us to press again. If we pressed like Palace did, we would have smashed them 5-0 today. But because we was just slowly pass it, left, drive, backwards, left, drive, backwards. Obviously, you're not going to do anything against anyone that presses you then. So do something different. But yeah, HAKIM ZIYECH, thank you for getting us the 3 points, because listen to our debate about Lukaku a minute ago. Imagine how annoyed we would be if we lost or if we drew. But HAKIM ZIYECH, absolutely fantastic, obviously, with the goal. But I don't think overall the most outrageously good performance. I just don't think anyone was outrageously good. Like, he had one good cross that maybe Kai could have done a bit more to get to. Maybe Pulisic could have done a bit more to get to. But that was really it from my memory. But, certainly didn't give the ball away in terms of, like, in useless areas, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give him an 8. I was gonna it's a 7 for the normal performance, +1 for the goal. Maybe some people think that's still too low, but that's what I will personally go with. Then we go to you, Con. What do you think of HAKIM ZIYECH? How would you rate him?
Yeah, I think he was our best attacker again. You mentioned about the pressing. I wonder why we don't press like we did last season. I wonder what changed. But
yeah, but even when we didn't have Lukaku, when he was injured, we didn't press, I will say.
Yeah, but we counter-pressed it a little bit better. But,
Yeah, no,
some people...
definitely better.
Apparently, running's hard for some footballers, but yeah, Ziyech again. He just tried to make things happen. Like when he doesn't have a natural right wing back behind him, that overlapping run. It doesn't help him. Gets really isolated. So I think he did really well. I don't think Christian did too bad behind him today either. All things considered, I think when Reece James comes back and Ziyech stays in his form, it could be really good for us. Like really, really good for us. Today I'd give him an 8 as well. I'd give him like a 7-ish for the performance and an extra 1 for a goal. I think he got that bang on.
Fair dues, fair dues. Let me go to Pice. What do you think? Pice, I can't hear you.
Yo, sorry, I lagged out a little bit.
Oh, good. There you are.
Was that Ziyech?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what should I say? The best player on the pitch for me. Yeah, very good technically. I thought some of his pressing was amazing. Well, not some of it, a lot of it. Just very, very good on the ball. I was disappointed that the goal got disallowed, obviously. But yeah, just another guy that steps up when we need him to. And in the forward, the back formations, just in general, are looking a lot better. Just some of his dribbling as well. Like I've noticed, he actually is beating players, and he looks like really sharp. Like I didn't really rate his dribbling at all, like before, but he's actually taking on players now and beating them with success. So he's kind of like, yeah, he just seems a completely different player, to be honest. Like he's so much more confident. So that's really good. I'll give him. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9 today.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Let me go to you, Clutch. Finish it off, Hakim Ziyech then. We have 2 8s and 1 9 so far. Where do you sit on it?
Well, I do think he was the best player on the pitch. I'm not going to go quite as high as 8. I'm going to give him a 0.5 higher than I was. I'm going to go with a 7.5. I thought he was really good. I thought he was really direct, but I also thought Mitchell, who was defending him, had a really good game. I thought he defended him really well most of the time. Our attack was not free-flowing through Ziyech as much as it usually does. I do think he misplaced a couple passes, crosses, but overall, he was still our best attacker by some distance of a mile. So I would probably go with the 7.5 because I don't want to go up to an 8 because I don't think anybody here deserves an 8. But if anybody, I guess, you can go with Ziyech. But I'd still stick with the 7.5.
Fair dues, fair dues. I guess that overall leaves us at an 8. Let's move on to the other winger, I suppose, then, but that in itself was half the problem. Now, I still think Kai should have won a penalty, and if he did win the penalty, people will talk about his performance a little bit differently. One question and criticism I have is, when we signed him, everybody was telling me how 2-footed he is. Like, the guy never uses right foot. Like, he only ever uses left foot. Which is why when you play him on the left, it slows him down so much. Because when he receives the ball and he doesn't cross, he needs to wait so long until he can do something. And 95% of the time, it's a backwards pass. Not always like the worst backwards pass, often like to a Pulisic or a Kante in this formation. But still, it's frustrating. But as soon as we switched to the front two for the last few minutes when we changed formation after the triple substitution, things were much better. Like, much better. He was more involved. He was doing things. He was chasing after people. He was trying to win the ball. He has had a lot of fouls today. I almost want to check how many fouls he had. Is that just me that imagine he had a lot
7.
of fouls today? 7 fouls. That's a lot of fouls for an attacker. Especially 95% of them were completely pointless anyway. But yeah, I don't think it was good. But I don't think it was as bad as some other people will make him out to be personally. I must say 5.5. Maybe that's a bit high. I'll stick with it for now. Maybe I'll change it later, but I'll say 5.5. Con, what do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't really too impressed with Kai today. I just don't understand Tuchel today why Pulisic was in midfield and Kai was there. I still don't get that. Trying to think of, like, because he did have a good cutback to Pulisic. He should have had a pen, by the way. Why is it we never get those decisions? But it's a conversation for another day. Other than that, he was quite wasteful at times. I'd say a 5 for me, because at least he tried. He was trying to get on the ball, trying to take players on, trying to get balls into the box. So yeah, 5 for me.
Fair dues. Clutch, what about you then?
I think 5 is too high for Havertz. I think his last 20 minutes saved him. I think he was really poor, didn't really want to get on the ball, and then his last 20 minutes he actually started doing really well. 4.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where does that leave us for the timing? I guess a 4.5. But let's see what Pi's going to say. Pice, what do you think? Gonna go as low as Clutch or more towards myself and Con?
I'm going to go with 3. I thought he was terrible. Some of it is because he played out wide, but still, his ball control was terrible. He lost the ball a load of times. He was weak. He wasn't sharp. He wasn't, good. He wasn't any use to us today. So yeah, I have to give him a 3, to be honest.
I cannot physically understand how you were that defending Lukaku and going that harsh on Havertz. I'm not saying it's necessarily all wrong.
Because Havertz is part of the reason why Lukaku played so bad.
But isn't
He's
Lukaku
literally
part of the
hugging
reason why
the
Havertz played so bad?
No.
Why not? It's a team
Because
game.
Havertz was literally, unless it was a Tuchel, unless Tuchel comes out and says it was an instruction, I don't understand why Havertz was on the touchline. He should have been.
Because we had 2 centre backs at fullback, mate. So they had to provide width, him and Ziyech, hence why they're so wide today.
That is true, but that's in itself the problem why Tuchel played Havertz out there.
He still played.
But like, bro, he had 47 touches and Lukaku at 7. And you're saying he was as useless as Lukaku. That doesn't make any sense.
He was shit on the ball, so what do you want me to do? Like, he was shit on the ball.
He even had a better pass accuracy than Lukaku, even though Lukaku only attempted 4.
He was still bad on the ball. I don't care, like...
Yeah, but I'm not saying, like, hey, both
I have high expectations.
But you defended
£72
Lukaku
million.
and you criticised Havertz. I don't think that's fair.
I don't care. So Havertz, £72 million. If you want to bring Lukaku's price tag up all the time, I'll bring Havertz's price tag up.
That's totally fair.
I said, by the way,
I'm not,
I said
you
this.
didn't criticise
I
both.
said this.
You only criticised one.
I criticised Lukaku. I said I don't like him overall. So, I mean, unless you misheard that, I said I don't really like Lukaku, but I'm just trying to be more balanced. With Havertz, he's been in the team a lot longer, and I said in the preview, he needs to do more in the Premier League. He should be building off the performances. He should be building off that goal in the Club World Cup final, and he didn't.
But shouldn't Lukaku build off his goal in the Club World Cup?
But I'm talking about Havertz. I'm talking about Havertz.
You are, but you were sat there for 10 minutes, bro, defending Lukaku.
I wasn't defending Lukaku, bro. I was never defending Lukaku.
No,
It
you
came
said
across like that. I was trying to be balanced.
We can't blame
I
him
don't
for not
defend
moving because
Lukaku.
that's
I don't
his
like
game.
Lukaku, but we've got to get used to it. He's in this team now. We've got to get used to it. We've got to find ways of trying to be more balanced instead of just like. There's no point me saying, "Oh, Lukaku didn't move." Like, there's no point. Like, where does that get us? We need to think of how, like, as fans, we need to think of ways of how we can judge Lukaku on a more balanced basis.
But if he didn't move, we're gonna say he didn't move. Like, what do you want us to say? Just lie and say he.
The thing is, him not
But you
moving
don't
is
think
part of the problem.
You didn't think of anything else. Like, you didn't blame anyone else but Lukaku. That's my problem.
But we were talking about Lukaku, just as you were now talking about Havertz.
Yeah, but when you judge a player, you don't just talk about the player. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a 50-50 team sport,
Tuchel
though.
was at fault again, as I said, for playing Havertz out wide. But still, Havertz on the ball, like, he didn't do enough. Like, he's better than he did today. He's shown us that. Like, I have high standards for him. He did nothing. He caused us. He had no threat for us, and he was clumsy on the ball.
I thought he should have won a penalty, but otherwise, I agree. But still more threat than Lukaku had, though.
Thank you, I'm not sure. Momborg and Seni, I think that's your name. Thank you in the chat.
I just say this is what I hate about football.
What do you mean? No, sorry. No, you were like literally. Con was talking and saying, Lukaku didn't move, and why doesn't he? And Clutch was saying, why don't you drop back? And then you came in to say that's not his game. Like, if that's not defending Lukaku for not moving, I don't know what is. I'm sorry.
It's okay, maybe I said he should have moved more, but it's still not his game. Like, he still shouldn't be like you want to turn Lukaku into Harry Kane. Like, that's not happening. So why do you mention it?
But he's never going to make it playing it the way he wants to play. At that point, I would take a $70 million loss and sell him for $30 million.
So would I.
If that is his only struggle,
so would I.
If that is, it's just. So I'm going to judge it on that. I agree 100% with you, Pius.
I would sell him, but you can't just bring out these things of, okay, Lukaku now needs to drop deep and like it's...
No, but They were supposed to drop deep.
I don't get it, bro. Pies,
You
I'll
can't
be honest,
change
bro.
overall
I
game.
don't get it. No, Pies, he said himself he can do this, bro. That's why I'm saying it. Like, I'm not getting annoyed. If he didn't say that, I know what Lukaku's like. I watched a lot of Inter last season, and I saw that he's great in transition. You know, that's where he thrives.
Fantasy as
But
well in the chat.
he said that himself. So why am I? If he says something, he doesn't do it. I've got to get annoyed. Just like if anyone says anything to you in life and they don't deliver on it, you're gonna get annoyed. If I said to you, "Oh, Pies, I'm gonna do this for you tomorrow," and I don't do it, you're gonna be annoyed. It's just human nature, bro. But if he didn't say that, then fairs. I get what you're saying, but he said it himself. Don't know how many times I have to say that. I'm bored of saying it. I'm bored of Lukaku. Honestly, bored of him at Chelsea Football Club. Please just go away.
No. Okay,
players say things all the time, though. I don't
in the wrong way.
understand.
No. What I was saying wasn't that Pies isn't allowed to say criticism of one or the other, but he gave Lukaku a 3 or a 4, and he gave Havertz a 3. But the way he spoke about both performances is defending Lukaku the way it came across, and what Havertz you stated, even though you gave them both the same rating, which is then if you give them both the same rating, why was only one of them criticized? That's what I was getting at.
Bro, the whole chat's acting like I'm defending this guy. I don't like Lukaku, but we're
I don't think you're defending him. I think I want to know.
You're making it too easy for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like you're letting him off, and it's like, yeah, I agree. If it's not his game to play to come back and get the ball, then you shouldn't be on the field. You're not helping us. This is a team sport. He needs to. If he's not getting the ball, you can't just be like, oh, everybody else is shit. They need to get him the ball, because yes, that is something that needs to happen. But he also needs to take the initiative to go
I've seen
get
this all before. Tuchel will end up, the fans will end up turning on Tuchel. That's what will happen when it's not his fault.
Maybe it isn't his fault, but at
whether
some
it's
point,
his fault or not. But like, fair enough if you think that it's not Lukaku's game and you let him off for that. But the same logic then applies to Havertz. It's not his game to stay here and try to beat people when he's left-footed. That basically doesn't use it right. Like, if you go by that's not his game excuse, or not excuse, reasoning, shall we say? That goes for both equally as much.
No, I just generally thought Havertz was poor on the ball and was weak on the ball. Like, he got on the ball more than Lukaku, yeah, but if Lukaku got on the ball more and was shit on the ball, I would have said that for him as well. But
yeah, but if Pulisic scores his chance that Kai laid off for him, then it's a different conversation. That's what I hate about football. It's all about GNA, isn't it? It's all about GNA. Fuck the performance, GNA, innit?
I don't think so. I don't think Pulisic.
Yeah, because if Pulisic scores, everything changes. And don't say it doesn't, because
no, that's not
been
true.
on multiple streams. Yeah, it is true. It is true.
It's not, because if Kante scored, I would still say that he played shit. So I don't know what you're on about.
Okay.
I mean, see, because we're going to get to Pulisic now, just to quickly use Havertz and Lukaku for one last time. The only way I see this whole structure of these three being positioned like this working, and the only idea I could possibly see...
I'm a goal assist merchant, you know.
Tuchel having with this is if Kai stays wide, which makes sense, then Lukaku drags the defender and Pulisic uses the space to attack, which happened once and then Pulisic didn't score from it. But that's why I keep saying Lukaku needed to drop, because then he pulls that defender to open that space. And because Lukaku always stayed there, Pulisic could not go anywhere. Like, that was the whole intention, in my opinion, of this whole idea of football, of this whole formation, to use that. Because otherwise, why would you play him there? To use his pace and acceleration and finishing. Surely that's the only logic, right? But because Lukaku was always just here and moving about a 5-yard radius, left and right, obviously running up and down. I'm not saying he didn't. Like I said, I went higher with the rating and touched it. But if he dropped, not to here, but to here. Again, when we say drop deep, don't do Harry Kane and try to play 50-yard passes. Obviously not. You can't play 50-yard passes anyway, so don't attempt it. But drop to drag a defender. If you're not receiving the ball, which is a problem, at least try to be useful to the team in other ways and by creating space. And because Lukaku is so man-marked so often, which is, by the way, part of why he struggles so much, and there's very little he can do about it because Premier League defenders are just very good. But then try to find ways to help the team in other ways. And in my opinion, by making that backwards run, when their pass could have come to him, would have dragged the defender, opened that up, you pass it to Kai, you play it through to Pulisic, you're one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But we didn't do it. I'm not saying it's that simple, of course. Palace would try to stop us. But that's my only idea of how I think Tuchel thought this would make sense. Because otherwise, why on earth would you ever play them this way around? I also don't understand why they never switched him, like in game. Fair enough if at times it's like this, and at times, at times Pulisic is central and Kai's out wide, but at least switch it. Like, again, make it less predictable. I don't understand why we always have the same thing until we do a drastic change of formation. No one has freedom. Everyone's always has to do that very thing. It's strange to me. It's strange to me. Let's get to Pulisic, because a lot of people thought he was awful. I think he was poor, but not awful. There was the one where he messed up the squared pass to Havertz. That was really bad. I mean, who knows whether VAR would have called that back for a potential foul by Jorginho on Zaha. I didn't think it was, but it's VAR. They screw us over every time, so I wouldn't have been surprised if they called it back anyway. So maybe it didn't matter. You could argue, but still, that's a bad ball. I also think he should have done a bit better with his chance he had, because he basically messed up his first touch and didn't get a proper shot away. But then we get to a few things that we just talked about in terms of Pulisic came deep to receive the ball often in the first half, especially, and he got it here. And then what was he going to do? Lukaku wasn't making runs, or if he was making them always with the centre-backs and always starting too high up, so then too close to the goalkeeper to make those runs. Ziyech doesn't have the pace to make those runs. Havertz never made those runs. So then where is that guy going to pass? The only thing he can do is dribble in that situation, right? Pass backwards or dribble, because mind you, we have basically there's the centre back here, a defender here, a defender here, a defender here, a defender here, and one, if not two, midfielders here. So then where do you think both of these players are going to pass the ball? And Jorginho had the same problem. Jorginho also always passed backwards, because when he had the ball, Pulisic and Kante were behind oppositions, and all three of the forwards didn't move. The only one that did sometimes is Ziyech, but Ziyech obviously doesn't quite have the pace to do the in-behind runs, or at least maybe he has the pace, but he just chooses not to make those in-behind runs. So that's the only thing I let Pulisic off for, and also, again, playing another position. But it still needs to be better. Like, he just falls over so much. Like, the guy fell over on 3 occasions after just passing. He passed and fell on the floor. I'm like, why? How are you falling over? You're not a 5-year-old child trying to learn snowboarding. You're playing football and you're an adult. Stop falling over. I don't understand. It's so confusing. See, because we did Havertz, in my opinion, a bit lower than I personally would have gone, now I kind of need to go Pulisic lower than I would have gone, because otherwise I think it's unfair. But I'm going to say maybe... I think he was worse than Havertz? I'd honestly say they were pretty similar, to be perfectly honest. So I might have gone maybe Pulisic even a little lower than Havertz. But now that we have Havertz at a 4, I don't want to give Pulisic a 3.5. So I don't know. I'm going to say 4.5, because I know maybe Python, Con are going to go quite low. I don't know. Maybe I'll change mine, but I'll go 4.5 for now. By the way, I mean, who went last time? Was it Pice? I'll let you go first this time, Pice. What do you make of Pulisic? And did you see what I meant in terms of how we could have, the only logic I could see in trying to make the three of them work?
Yeah, potentially. I think Pulisic has been good in more central positions before, like picking the ball up, driving forward, creating chances. But yeah, I do think he over dribbled slightly today. There was a couple of really nice dribbles where he drew a couple of fouls, but I definitely don't think the position really was the best for him. But I mean, at least he was. I would say he was better on the ball than Havertz, personally. He certainly looked a little bit more threatening, but I guess maybe that was just because he was in the middle of the pitch. There was sometimes more space, whereas Havertz was being man-marked. But still, I don't know, it wasn't great, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not really sure on the rating. Maybe a 4.5, something like that. Yeah, it was not an average performance. I think it was a bit below average, personally, because I think he could have done a few things better. But yeah.
Yeah, no, fair. And yeah, I mean, someone said it there, he gets fouled because he's not so strong. Like I said, that's what I was not quite as full of praise for Pulisic after the Porto game as I remember Pice was quite full of praise with it, probably Clutch as well, but I don't remember it. But I wasn't, because to me, Hazard, that didn't always get fouled. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's not good to let the opponent foul you. Stay up. Hazard's goal against Arsenal, when Coquelin basically 360 spins on the Hazard's back and falls on the floor. Pulisic would have fallen on the floor. And if Hazard fell on the floor, he could have never scored his goal. Don't always fall on the floor. Stay strong. yeah, I don't think Pulisic is as weak as he looks by falling over. I don't think he is that weak. I think he could stay up more than he does, and I don't understand why he doesn't. And that's almost my biggest criticism of him. I think that's way more annoying than when he over dribbles and loses it. Yeah, it's annoying, but at least I see you trying something. Falling over, to me, is not trying. Try and stay up. Like, that's what made the likes of Messi and Hazard as great as they were at dribbling, because you could tackle them and they didn't just fall down. And then when a player tackled and you're still running, that means you took a player out of the game. Because if you get fouled, then you have another 10 defenders in front of you, so it's pointless. So, hey, here we are. We've had 4.5 and one where it's not sure between 4 and a 4.5. So I'll go with you next, Clutch. Is your boy. What do you make of his performance, and how would you rate it?
I think my biggest problem with him today was his passing. Every time I kept seeing so many misplaced passes. There was one where he passes to Christensen, but that Christensen kind of pissed me off a little bit more than Pulisic, because he still could have got to it. He just kind of sat still and got root and got froze up. But then the Havertz ball, that was really poor. His passing was really off today. Not today, because I don't think he's a great passer, but I think his dribbling was better today than we've seen in the past. He does hold on to the ball too long. For me, it's not his position. I thought it was clear in the first half, like, we should have made a change, move Havertz over and put Pulisic over there on the wing. But it is what it is. I'm going to go with a 4. I think it was about the same as Havertz.
Fair. Then we sit on a 4 for the time being, and then Con, finish it off for us for Pulisic.
It's hard to rate today, because out of everybody having to do something they're not used to, him playing in midfield is just, I don't understand. Laurenz, I don't understand that decision at all. Mm-hmm. It felt like the positions he was taking up and all that. It's like I was watching Mason Mount. Like, Tuchel thought this guy was Mount. Like, what are you doing with Pulisic, man? I didn't get it. But his performance, the fact that I know he's in midfield, it's a different area to be a winger, right? But you should know when to dribble and when not to, you know. Like, if you lose it on the wing near the opponent's box, okay, cool. If you lose it in midfield, it's dangerous. And in my opinion, it should have been a foul when he got fouled. I think it's in the first half or the second. I can't remember. And they almost scored because of him losing it where he did, you know. I think it was, in my opinion, probably worse than Havertz today. I was really disappointed with his performance. I'm going to go 3.5.
Fair it is. I'm just trying to scroll back here because I seemingly missed the super chat, so I'm trying to find that. Well, I guess your 3.5 unfortunately leaves us at the 4 anyway when I went 4.5. But here we are. Then we have Pulisic and Havertz on 4s. I personally would have probably put both a bit higher, but here we are. That's why we're 4 people here and finding a collective rating. Let's go to N'Golo Kante. And I'll let Clutch go first on this one. What do you make of Kante? And how would you rate it?
I wouldn't say it's tough, because I tend to agree with Pius on this. These are the kind of games he's not really needed on. And yesterday when I was saying, hey, maybe it's time to think about maybe entertaining offers for him, even though I got cooked for saying that. It's just, there's more games that we're not going to be able to use him than we are going to be able to use him. Kante is a defensive player. He can do some offensive things. He's a very good dribbler. But when it gets to that final third, he doesn't really offer you much. And he had a goal attempt today that he should have scored. We should be 1 up. But, I mean, it's just, I don't know how to rate him, because 4.5, I'm going to go 4.5.
Fair dues. I did finally find the super chat, so let me just quickly read it out, even though it's not quite on topic anymore. I do apologize very much, Elias, but I appreciate the donation very much, saying, I think Havertz would have been better in the position Pulisic played in and vice versa. I don't get why Tuchel decided against that. It seems obvious. I could not agree more, and I think all of us here agree with that, as we were kind of talking about earlier. Pice, N'Golo Kante, it's difficult to really rate, because obviously, unlike Pulisic and Havertz, he obviously had a few defensive contributions, which you have to add. But also, he was still playing as a number 8. And our attack was awful. And he missed the biggest chance we had all game outside of our goal.
Yeah, for his role, being an 8, I have to score him lower than, obviously, the defensive contributions. Naturally, he did help defensively a bit, but he played in as an 8. So, I'll go with I mean, I think I give Pulisic a 4, didn't I? I have to go lower, obviously, because he missed that chance. I have to, and I thought just generally he didn't really offer anything. I don't like him playing in the 8 role. It's either a pivot or nothing for me. So yeah, I'll go with 3.5. I don't think this was a good game for him, and I don't think he suits these type of games. I never have thought that as well. So yeah, I'll go with 3.5.
Fair. And then Con, lastly on Kante. Well, I guess I have to go after you, but anyway, Kante. For you, Con, 3.5, 4.5 is what we've had so far. Where do you see it?
Gave Havertz a 5, so I'm going to give N'Golo a 5 as well. I can't believe he missed that chance. But defensively, I remember times when there was in transition and he stopped it, and that's big. So I'm going to give that a bit more credit than he probably deserves, to be honest. But in these games, I'm not a massive fan of N'Golo playing at all. Because I just think if Kovacic played and was in the positions N'Golo was in today, I think the game's very different. So, yeah, give him a 5 there.
Fair. I guess that puts us to 4.5, which is probably the rating I was going to give him. Do I think his rating should be higher than Pulisic and Havertz's? Personally, no. I think they should be either the same or... yeah, probably the same. The one thing I will say about this whole chance for Kante, he should have scored it, but also a little bit of credit. He's the only one in our entire squad that made that run all day. So fair play to him for that. Like that's the frustrating part, because we know he doesn't have the finishing quite. He doesn't have the decision making in terms of passing when he is in those final third areas. But his footballing brain to know where to go and when to go is amazing. If only some other players had that, because if some other players had the timing of Kante, things would be a lot better. But yeah, the miss was obviously bad, because if we go 1-0 up in that first half, I think the whole game's different. I think the whole game's much more comfortable. Personally, I mean, I could be wrong, to be fair. Like, how many times have we gone 1-0 up and then we just concede an equaliser and everything's worse? Fair enough. But yeah, I think it would have made things a lot more easy today. But hey, I'll sit with the stick at 4.5. So we'll sit with that. I'll go with Jorginho. I'll go first myself. I'll just give him a very plain and average 6. Maybe that's even too high, but I changed my mind. 5.5, because I don't know. I didn't see him control the game as much. He made some good tackles on transition. I thought that was good, but no particularly useful forward passes. In all honesty, and yeah, we had control, and it got worse when he came off in terms of control, but. Just wasn't it? How many touches did he have? 51. It's not even a lot for him. 75% pass accuracy. Yeah. I stick to my 5.5. It was average, maybe just below average. I still don't know myself what I class as average. Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 5.5? I don't know. But I'll go 5.5. And I go with Pies first. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, to be fair. He was on the floor a lot as well today. It just seemed to, I don't know. It was not the best of games. Didn't control the game as much as he usually does. Did probably need a bit more support defensively, because obviously in this, he is truly the lone DM, and I know Kante was coming back a little bit, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I think he got isolated a few times in the midfield and on transitions, which we all know can happen when he plays as the lone DM. So, yeah, I'll give him a 5. I don't think he played horribly, but definitely not one of his best games, and too many sideways and backward passes for me today. No, didn't really hit the sides a lot. Usually more forward thinking, to be honest.
I agree. Did you just? Sorry, I was reading something to make sure I can bring it up in a second. Did you give me a rating as well?
Yeah, I said 5.
Fair dues. Let me just read that out, because I guess let's finish Jorginho off and then I'll read it out. Clutch. Jorginho, we've had a 5.5 and a 5. Where do you sit on it?
I'm going to make it short and sweet. I think he was a 5 today. A little bit overall disappointed with him. But, I mean, when you're playing a lone DM, this is kind of what I expect from Jorginho at this point. It just reaffirmed that in the summer, Rice, Tchouameni, I don't care. You got to get one of them.
But did you guys think it was the biggest problem with Jorginho today was when we got the transition problems? Because how many times did it happen? Like 3-4 times? It's not the biggest deal in the world.
I haven't got a lot, to be fair. They had like 2 chances. I mean, one from kickoff when we scored, one from Elise. There was a lot of like turnovers as well. It wasn't in the first half. It was more us like not controlling, as it was scrappy still. But the second half had me on nerves a little bit. There was a lot of fouls and things like that where balls came into the box as well, which wasn't great as well. That kind of made it more nervous.
Oh no, I agree. I was just basically asking, do you think whether he wasn't like the fact that he was a lone six today? I don't think was
like I mean
problem as such.
Yeah, I know he wasn't on then, but like as well, just on transition, like when Ruben came on as well, like there was a lot of transitions when he lost the ball.
Yeah. It's just I just thought he didn't pass forward enough today. I mean, I do think that's part of it to do with the front four, but front five rather, all five players that were ahead of him, and obviously making it even worse the fact that our two fullbacks today were centre backs, meaning they were much deeper than our fullbacks usually are. So where does Jorginho really pass when the passing lanes to the 2 8s in front of him are blocked? But that's why the 2 8s in front of him got low ratings, because they didn't move enough to make themselves available. Pulisic did it for a while in the first half. Was good. And Kante did it at times, but neither of them did it consistently enough, especially when we try to be a bit quicker. Con, if I had 2 5s and 1 5.5, where do you sit on Jorginho?
I'll go 5.5. And to be fair, I think he did well in transition today, because I watched Palace versus Liverpool, and they cooked Liverpool in transition in that game. And I think people need to realise Crystal Palace in transition are scary. Very quick side, you know. So I think Jorginho did that well today, but his passing today was awful. Like I expect so much better from Jorginho when it comes to passing. I would have given him a 6, but I just couldn't with the passing today. It's just horrible. 75% pass accuracy as well. J5, man, what are you doing? And it was a bit negative. I get it, because just in general, I know we say about Lukaku, but our movement is horrible. It is like our front line's movement is just horrible at times. So static.
I agree.
So yeah, I think I'll give him a 5.5 today.
Just because we've gone quite long already, and we've had obviously 2 5.5s, I don't know what to do. I put 5.5 down because it's my channel, but just because I can't be bothered to wait until everybody says something in the chat. I'm sorry. The one thing I do want to say about the whole transition, you guys will be in for a surprise next season if you think that Rice or Tchouaméni or other DMs just stopped every transition, because that doesn't happen. Attacking players will be faster, especially in acceleration, than Tchouaméni, than Rice. It doesn't matter who we sign and put there. They will be faster than them. And also them two will at times be run past in transition. That happens, especially as a sole 6, because it's quite physically impossible as a sole 6 to be there and there at the same time. It's like, you know, every 6 will struggle with that. Sure, they will struggle with it a little bit less, which is why we need to sign them. But people sometimes talk about it with Jorginho as if he's the only DM in the world that would get run past like that. No, it happens to every DM in the world. You know, like it does.
See,
that's the whole point of transition play.
Lawrence, I love you for saying that. I actually love you for saying that, because when I was watching Liverpool versus Palace, right, Fabinho got cooked in transition. Today, Declan Rice got cooked by Willock as well. Willock cooked Rice today, especially in transition. Like, it happens all the time. And I for the life of me, I don't know why J5 is always in the limelight when it comes to talking about DMs in transition. The only person who could really get away with not getting caught out in transition is Basuma, really. And that's because like he's freakishly quick for a holding DM, you know? But it happens to everyone, like you said. So I don't know why it's so highlighted with Jorginho if you watch Man City, like considering how they scored as Tottenham scored today. If you watch Fabinho against the likes of Palace and stuff like that, they all get cooked in transition. You know? It's one player. Like, what do you expect them to do? People need to relax with that.
There you go. And I mean, Fantasy BJ Dore saying it's not like Kante wasn't helping J5 out. Must be delusional not to think that. I mean, I think you're a bit delusional if you didn't see where Kante was half the game, because he was literally up with Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic, and Lukaku. Like, I mean, there was Opta said in the first half that Kante's average position was almost as high as Lukaku's. So yes, on a couple of occasions he did save us, but that was only when we lost the ball before Kante had time to get high up the pitch. That was the only reason, right? Yes, because Georgie is slower than a 90-year-old disabled man. A bit harsh, Chester. But yes, of course, that's why Georgia will get beat a few more times. But people always say it like as if he's the only DM that will ever get beat on transition. That happens to everyone. It just does. And if you think it doesn't, then you will be in for a surprise next year, no matter who we sign. Let's do the 2 fullbacks. Let's get some positive in, because I'm a big fan of Malang Sarr. Not sure why he got subbed off, but at the same time, he got subbed off for Alonso, who provided the match-winning assist. So fair play. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. I think he played the best pass that we had all game. Kovacic was very good to Lukaku, but Lukaku was obviously offside. So, Sarr played the best game of pass of the game. I think Sarr was defensively arguably better than Rudiger was today. So fair play, Malang Sarr. I'm going to give him a 7. That's what I'm going to go with. Maybe people think it's too high. I like Malang Sarr. I think he played a wonderful game. So yeah, 7 from me. Clutch, I do think I actually cut you off a little bit earlier when talking about Jorginho, so I do massively apologize about that. But if you want to go in more detail about Malang Sarr, please do.
I may have not been as impressed by Malang Sarr. I don't think he was bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think he was good. I think there were a couple passes he misplayed. He did have that one good pass to Kante, granted, but there was one that he could have passed to Lukaku, and Lukaku would have had a one-on-one with the goal. But I think he... Yeah, it was in the first half. I'd probably go with the 6.
How would it even happen?
I think he struggled. Huh? What?
How would it happen that the left back has the only pass to play the striker in 1-on-1? Where were all the other players then? But fair. Go on.
He was a little higher up. He was like at the midfield line, and he passed it through. And Lukaku, I don't know if he let it run or he got pushed off. But it was he should have had it. If it was a little bit better ball, he would have been better. But I'd probably go with the 6. The only thing I struggled with is he was kind of a little skirtish, like he doesn't know where he wants to go with the ball. Passing is a little off, but other than that, I'm overall happy with Malang Sarr.
Fair dues. So there's a lot of people in the chat giving him a very low rating. I'm very surprised by that, especially because I know you guys are going to give Rudiger a very high rating, and Sarr, in my opinion, got beat less than Rudiger did today. But fair. So we have a 6 and a 6 and a 7 so far. So we sit at 6.5. Con, what do you think, Malang Sarr?
Defensively, I think he's all right. Even going forward, that pass into Nagola, great pass. It's just hard for me to give him like quite a high rating because he offers nothing in attack besides that pass, which was really good. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't offer anything else. But then I don't want to give him too low of a rating because he is a centre back playing at left back. Do you know what? No, he deserves it because at the start of the season, this guy, none of us rated him. He's like, why wasn't he loaned out? So yeah, we'll give him a 6 today. Screw it, why not?
A 6. I thought you was going to go 7 now. All of a sudden he goes 6 anyway. Fair dues. Pikes, finish it off for Malang Sarr. What do you make of him and how would you rate him?
Yeah, I agree with Con. Like, he's not the greatest going forward. I think he had that one cross as well where it just went completely out of play. That happened in the other game as well.
That cross, he had to snatch at it because it was overhit, the pass. I don't know who passed it, but it was overhit. So that's why, because otherwise it goes out.
I didn't really see that on my stream, but fair enough.
I thought, maybe I'm wrong though, to be fair, but I thought you had to cross it immediately and then screwed it up because otherwise it would have run out of play.
Well, I know he's had a really bad cross with his left foot before. I just can't remember which game, but it also went out of play. Yeah, so I mean, fair fucks to Alonso. Like, great cross to Ziyech. But like, I think we just all prefer Sarr at the moment because he's quicker. I think he's better defensively, and he picked that ball out to Kante today as well, which he deserves credit for. Yeah, I'm happy with a 6.5. I think the more he plays, like the more like I'm starting to trust him, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't have an issue with putting him in the lineup anymore, for me personally. So while Chilwell's out and while we're in this situation, I think play him as many games as possible because I do think he's a decent player. I just think it's annoying that people say Alonso's good going forward. Like, that's not true for me personally. No. Like, in spits and spouts,
and the only time he did anything was that one cross. It was a great cross.
Yeah, like
it was the only thing he did.
we haven't seen Kennedy yet, so unless we've got like Roberto Carlos on the bench, then none of these guys who are Chilwell out is going to be good at going forward. So, yeah, but defensively, Sarr is definitely a lot better, I would say. I think. I have to say, he did give one stupid foul away, didn't he? Was it towards the end of the game? Yeah, the push, that was a stupid foul to give away. But to be fair, Havertz did the same as well towards the end. I think everyone was getting a bit,
That's what I was thinking, because
stuff.
I saw some people in the chat were talking about stupid fouls, and that push is the only stupid foul I can remember. But maybe I just don't remember it. But the people that I saw giving stupid fouls away was mostly Havertz, if anything.
Yeah, I
And
think
Rudiger.
everyone got a bit flustered towards the end. Yeah, Rudiger was quite aggressive as well, as usual today. But yeah, I'll go with 6.5. I rate him more than others. Certainly, I do see a lot of slander for him as well. Still, I don't really get why. I know he's not the best at left back or whatever, but he's a centre back anyway. So I don't see why people have got such a big problem. It's not like he's a natural left back. Can't judge him that harshly,
Although apparently Jester said in the chat that he started his career as a left back, which I was unaware of. And if that is the case, he's not a very good left back. But considering he's played centre back then for the most part for a number of years, that's why I still give him a lot of credit.
A lot of players start their career at another position, then move into where they're best at. So I don't. You know what I mean?
I think Jester was talking about as a professional, but I could be wrong. Obviously, as children, every goalkeeper was probably once a striker. But Ben Foster said once he was playing left wing. So it's one of those. It's one of those. Let's go over to Andreas Christensen. Clutch, no. I wanted to read this out after Jorginho already, and I forgot again. So Adam Newson tweeted, if you're on the way, he works for Football London. Tweeted a quote from Thomas Tuchel's post-match press conference, saying Thomas Tuchel on Romelu Lukaku's ineffectiveness today. I'm not sure if it says so much about us in general. And then Adam added to it, perhaps I'm reading too much into it, but that seems a little pointed. Obviously, I didn't see it. I'll have to watch it myself to really make a judgment on it. But I think Adam is hinting at, Tuchel is basically saying, I don't think Lukaku being ineffective has anything to do with the rest of the players, more him. I don't know if Tuchel meant that or not. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but I think that's what Adam is hinting at. Hey, if that's what Tuchel's doing, good, because Lukaku needs to get the stick out of his arse and play a bit better. Because, like Pi said on a number of occasions, we are stuck with Lukaku. That means Lukaku needs to play better, because I can't sit here every week and give him a 2, because that will depress me, and I don't want to be depressed. But anyway.
Just a quick one, Laurenz. Harry Kane just scored. It's 2-1.
It's 2-1, yeah?
Great. Yeah. Liverpool back in the title race. Just what we need.
How much is left in that game? Isn't that a bit?
How does Spurs lose to Southampton and beat fucking Man City? I don't.
It's 60th minute though, so it's half hour left.
City will win 3-2.
Yeah.
No worries.
There you go.
But late goal from Rodri or someone. Who's even playing?
Or like Laporte with a random header. I don't know if Laporte's even playing. But Clutch, you were talking about it in our group chat earlier how you were fuming at Christensen. You hinted on it earlier as well. What did you make of his performance? The frustrating thing was very late on when we finally switched formation to the 4-2-2. He did make that overlapping run and actually played a very good cross, which we nearly did something with. And I'm like, so why didn't you make that run for the rest of the game? Because regardless of formation, he could have made that run. So that was a bit frustrating. But there was a few occasions where he did some weird things at right back. And he certainly, Andreas Christensen, if playing at right back more regularly, needs to do throw-in practice because he's very bad at throw-ins. So he needs to work on that. But at the same time, it's the first time in God knows how long he's played right back, if at all, right? So fair play. But Clutch, your thoughts on Christensen today?
I thought for the first 65, 70 minutes, it was static and didn't really play any balls forward. Kind of left Ziyech up there by himself to kind of deal with two people instead of making that overlapping run, like you said. I seen him freeze up in the middle of the field for that pass and didn't even go for it, where they started to transition on us when he was 5 feet from the ball. That's where I really started fuming. So I'd probably go. Millingsar's a 6. I'd go 6.5. I think he was as good as Millingsar.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you'd go lower, but fair dues. Price, what about you, Christensen?
Yeah, fairly average. Not outstanding, but I thought he was decent. Overall, quite average though. I think was good on the ball, but awkward position. I think for him, obviously. He put that. He put one. I think he put one decent cross in. I think from the right hand side. Yeah. But I mean, maybe it's 6 or 6.5, something like that. It was nothing outstanding, but I think he did a job. I want to go back to one of the Zaha chances though, because I'm not sure if he cooked AC or not. I can't remember. He beat someone and then shot wide.
Certainly, every time Palace had a chance, it was from that side of the pitch.
It was Christensen.
Was it? Yeah.
I was actually going to change mine to a 6 because of that.
I was quite intrigued to see him play over Chalobah, to be fair, at right back, because I mean, like, Tuchel's never mentioned Christensen as right back before, but you know, we've hardly really played this formation much either. So I think Tuchel's just probably using this season now to test things out, which is ballsy of him. But yeah, I'll go over 6 because if Clutch is right, then yeah, I mean, Tahar nearly did score, so that wasn't a good moment because I watched that and I was like, oh my days, like whoever it was, he absolutely just shredded. And if it was Christensen, then yeah, fair enough, 6 then.
Yeah. And the other chance that Zaha had, even though that hopefully would have been called back for a clear foul on Pulisic in midfield, still, if you still count the chance, it was also Christensen who got cooked. But Con, Christensen, 6 for you. Would you go lower? Would you go higher?
Just a quick one. Kane missed a 1-on-1. I'd go for 6 as well. I think, I gave Zaha 6. I gave him a 6. I think they was just as good as each other. I think AC was a bit better, but he did get cooked by Zaha. So for me, it's going to be a 6. And do you know what? For playing like fullbacks today, I don't think these guys did horrific. I think that was all right, to be honest.
Fair. See, I don't think Christensen was anywhere near as good as Zaha personally. Fair enough. Obviously, Ayew was on Zaha's side and Zaha was on Christensen's side, and Zaha is better. I get that, but Christensen had no useful forward pass. Like Zaha had at least the one that gave us our biggest chance of the game, right? So that's automatically less. And every time Palace had a chance, it was on Christensen's side. So, and somehow he managed to never be attacking, but still always be out of position when defending. So obviously he's not used to right back, so I won't be too harsh. But if Aspie did that, Aspie had that performance, I would be giving him a 4. Christensen, for that reason, I'm going to give a 5. But we've had Pies. Did you went 6? Clon went 6. Well, I guess then I'll let you have it. You know what? Because I took my Jorginho one. Even if I go 5, I'll let you have the 6. Here we are. Still Rudiger first before we do Thiago Silva. Now the shot was outrageous. That deserved the goal. What a save by Guaita as well. Oh my days, that would have been wonderful. But other than that, I don't think Rudiger was particularly great today. No good passes, realistically. He had attempted one, but unfortunately Ziyech was just about offside. I think it was a really good pass. But once he just passed it out of play for no reason. When he tried to pass it to Saba, just passed it 5 yards too far to the left. There was once he got absolutely cooked by Zaha physically. And when he tried to push Zaha off, Zaha just moved out the way. Rudiger kind of fell into thin air. And Zaha moved past him, got the ball. Rudiger won it back 5 seconds later, fair play. But still, it looked weird. It was strange to me. So I'm going to give... I guess if we gave Christensen a 6, I'm going to give Rudiger a 6. But I would have obviously given Zaha 7. But here we are. I'll give Rudiger a 6. I don't think it was as good as usual. But obviously, it's still Rudiger. And he had some good tackles. He had some great moments. Just not as great as he usually is, essentially, is what I'm saying. But the shot, oh my days, if that would have been a goal, what a goal. Pice, what do you think?
What's the same, to be fair? I mean, yeah, the goal would have been insane. He's going to score one this season, I'm telling you. Like, he's got such a good shot on him. And it really was an outstanding save. But, yeah, I think overall, much to say, I don't really have much to add, to be honest. I'm happy with a 6, maybe a 6.5 because of the shot. Genuinely, I mean, we're picking up moments here. Like, we didn't have many moments, and that was one of them. So maybe you add a 0.5 onto that. I don't know. See what the other guys think.
I'm not sure. I mean, it shows the position we're in at Chelsea that we're considering giving 0.5.
Bro, we have to think of the positive moments because this was such a bad game. Like,
yeah,
he did more than the attackers, bro. Like, he did more than the midfield. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of going forward, he did. Yeah. Apart from Ziyech, obviously.
Yeah. So you're going to go for the 6.5 or the 6?
Nah, I'll go over 6. In all seriousness, I'll go over 6.
Fair dues. Con, what about you?
I might go for 6.5 today, actually. I think he was a bit better than Salah and AC, in my opinion. I really thought it was going to be the time he gets that goal, man. Really, he caught it so clean. The guy
and it was like extra far out than usual.
Yeah. He caught it so nicely, but it's not meant to be. Just not meant to be. But yeah, I thought he was great. I thought it was funny when Ayew tried to take him on. It's like, this guy's pocketed Salah as some of the world's best, and Ayew, you think you're going to be the guy to beat him 1v1, man? Stop it, man.
That is fair. And then Clutch, 6.5. Where do you sit on it?
I thought today he struggled defensively. They didn't get past him, but it did look like it was a tough go for him today. That shot was outrageous, and I was hoping it would go in, but it was also a very good save by their keeper. So, yeah, I'd go with the 6.
Fair dudes. Let's go to Thiago Silva. In my opinion, well, I guess alongside Saul for me, the second best player on the pitch that we had after HAKIM ZIYECH. I think his performance was good, defensively phenomenal. Whether we were hit on transition or not, the man doesn't get caught out, chipping the ball over himself, winning tackles like he just does. Yeah, very, very good. Obviously, I was always hope for a little bit more in terms of forward passes because I know he's very good at it. Same as I hope for more forward passes when David Luiz played. That kind of goes for both of them. But yeah, very good in the grand scheme of things, I would say. Clutch, what about you?
I would tend to agree. I would do a 7 as well. I thought he was pretty good defensively, our best center back today, and I really want to give Ziyech that 8 because I thought he was just that much above everybody. So I do want to give him a point ahead of Silva. But if I were to be honest, I'd probably go 7.5 in the end. But I'm gonna say 7 just because I want Ziyech to be that point higher because he scored that vital goal that we desperately needed and unfortunately had another one called off. So I'm gonna give him that 7.
Fair. Con, 7 for you for Thiago Silva, or would you go with something different?
Go with 7, bro. It's just one of them players, isn't it? If he's not a 10 out of 10, he'll always be at least a 7 out of 10, you know? And yeah, today he was just doing what he does, casually just dropping 7, 8 out of 10 performance, you know? I love Thiago Silva, I think it was great. Yeah, just Mr. Consistent, isn't it? Like, even at his age, he can still perform game after game. It's quite incredible if you think about it, to be honest. It really is.
It's true. I completely agree. It really is. And then Pies finish off. We have 3-7 so far. Would you go along with it or something different?
Can't really disagree, to be fair. He was more solid than Rudy, I think, in this particular game, although a lot of the attacks did come down so on Rudiger's side. So, yeah, maybe that plays a factor. But, yeah, 7's decent. I do agree, though, some more forward passes would be nice. Some more, over the top balls or balls out to the sides. He does those sort of long diagonal passes sometimes. So yeah, just really lack of urgency in general in the forward passing today.
I think he could have also passed a little bit quicker. That's
yeah.
I
thought that the other day, bro. What game was it? The other day, it was fucking hell, mate. He was doing my head in for some reason.
I think it was Al Hilal.
Yeah, I think one of the Club World Cup games, he just he took like 5 seconds to pass. It wasn't just him; it was like a couple of midfielders as well.
Yeah, we were really slow on the ball today.
I think I was on player ratings for it, and I was like, I don't know why, but we took like 10 seconds to pass the ball. It was like we were so casual; it was ridiculous. I don't know why we're so casual. Like when we're going to these grounds, like take it at them for minute 1, go 2 goals up, and then you can relax. You know what I mean? Like it's just. I don't understand why we're so conservative all the time.
Well, apparently it's jet lag, the cold, and lack of sleep.
Maybe. I mean, the one thing I will say is I don't know why he started today. I said this yesterday. I think Christensen and Rudiger should have started with Chalobah on the right if we was going to do this because now you've got to play him against Lille and against
I think
Liverpool.
Thiago might have been rested, but I think that's why he wasn't, just to have an extra experienced player.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he plays against Lille now and then Liverpool.
He will. And then be rested Luton, I'm pretty sure of it.
Hopefully he can
do it. I don't necessarily agree with it in terms of that we should be doing it, but in terms of what Tuchel's done for the rest of the season so far, that's not expecting it.
Hopefully he doesn't get injured. Pull a muscle or something.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, because that would be can't be handling that. Mendy, just quickly before we do the subs, he made 0 saves, but we also kept a clean sheet. So you could almost argue an NA, but I'm going to say 5.5 from the 6 because he literally had nothing to do. I guess you could say that's from a 10 but his passing
distribution was good. I thought.
Did you think?
Yeah, I thought under pressure. I thought he was quite good. I thought he picked out a lot of his targets.
Okay, fair. Because I didn't think it was so great, especially there was one early on when he kind of like, excuse me, nearly fell over and slipped as he tried to play it long, and then
Spurs
played
up
it to the wrong
3-1
player.
now.
Sorry?
Spurs are up 3-1 now. Harry Kane scored again.
What is City doing? Fuck's sake, man. But anyway, here we are. Do we want to do a rating? I don't really want to give a player that played 90 minutes an NA, even if he had nothing to do. So I'm not really sure.
6. I want to go 6.
Fair. Does everyone agree with the 6?
5.5 for me. Actually, a 5.
I'll just go with 6 just because I think I agree with Pies. I think the distribution of him today was good, and he literally had nothing to do. So
I'm a bit confused though. If he had no save to make and you thought his distribution was good, why are you going 5?
I said 6.
No, sorry. Yes, you did. Pies, I meant. Sorry.
Hey, what do you go for average? Is it 6 or 5? I always forget.
I thought it was 6 was average. I always go for 6.
Well, 6. I'll go with 6 then. I always think 5 is average because of 5 to 10, but we usually go 6, don't we? So
We should make like a concise thing about that at some point.
We do need to at some point make a decision.
Because you don't actually think like 0 to 10, you think 5 is in the middle, but a lot of the time.
I mean, that's what
6.
I thought, but then somebody told me 6 is the average. So I was like, I'm just gonna, I guess, go with that until I'm told differently.
I think 6 is the average because, like, for newspapers and stuff, because they don't do 0. So then it's arguably 1 to 10, and then I guess, do you know what I mean?
From here on out, 5 is average. So I guess we'll change it to 5.
I think we should go 6 because if 5 is average, I don't think Christensen should be having a 6. Personally.
Okay,
But
fair
maybe
enough.
you
Next
do.
stream.
Fair
Next stream we'll do it.
Fair dues. I mean, yeah, you know what? Let's just give him a 5.5. If we can't decide between 5 and 6, just do 5.5. Problem solved. Let's do the 3 subs. Obviously, they all came on at the very same time. Marcos Alonso, let's do him first. Why not? Got the game-winning assist. Otherwise, I didn't notice him for a single second. That might have been me not looking properly, and that might have been him not doing anything. I don't know which one it was, but he gave a match-winning assist. Therefore, I'm probably going to give him that 7. Obviously, with the star of being a substitute. But what more can he do than making a match-winning assist? Oh, Tottenham's second goal didn't count. But yeah, who do I go with next? Con Alonso obviously wasn't on the pitch for long, but got an assist, got the match-winning assist.
Yeah, I'd give him a 5, and just like with the CH thing, boost it up to a 6 because he got like that goal contribution, and it was the winning one. So it was a great cross as well. Let's not take it away from it. It was a really good cross from him. So give him a 6.
Fair dues. I will change my mind. I will also go for the 6 because I have seen he had a pass completion rate of 60%. With 11 touches, like 60%. When you're like, come on, how's that happen? But anyway, I go with the 6 as well. But again, no credit taken away from the very, very, very good cross. Price 6 for you. Would you go higher for the assist?
I would have done if he was involved more, I think, but I think it was just that assist. I mean, yeah, maybe 6.5. I don't know. Depends how you judge it, really.
Yeah. No, I changed my mind again. I'll give you.
Yeah, no, 6.5. 6.5 because he got the assist.
Fair dues. Fair dues. And Clutch, finish it off for us for Alonso.
Yeah, let's go for a 6.5. I'm usually pretty harsh on him, so let's go a little bit above. We'll say 6.5.
Fair dues. Mateo Kovacic, Clutch, I'll stick with you. You can say NA if you want to, but I think it was good.
I thought he was good too. You can tell the immediate difference in the midfield when he came on.
Yeah.
I just gave Alonso 6.5. That makes this tough. 6.5 for Kovacic.
Fair.
So even when I try to be nice to Alonso, he comes back to screw me in the end. So,
price for Kovacic.
I want to give him a 7, but then Alonso got the game-winning assist, so it doesn't really make sense. So I kind of probably have to stick with this 6.5 rating. But yeah, immediate difference for
Huge,
sure.
Yeah.
Much needed intensity in the midfield. Like, yeah, I was crying for it earlier, to be honest. But it's going to be great because he's going to start in the Champions League now, which is brilliant. So yeah,
that is very true. Oh yeah, by the way, just to clarify, if in case people might not have realized that. So when we did make the subs, so now just focus on the subs if there are subs on screen, we then switched to that formation. Whether you call it a 4-4-2, a 4-2-4, a 4-2-2, doesn't matter. It's essentially the same thing, but that's how we then played in the end. Con, 6.5 for you for Kovacic as well, or would you like to go for that, Simon?
I'd give him a 6.
Fair.
He should have had a massive part in the goal, but someone can't time the run. And like when he just comes on, he just levels, and he's really good. So yeah, I give him a 6. I want to give him higher, but just how other ratings are, I can't. So
fair dues. I probably just got along with the 6.5. I'm being perfectly honest. And then Ruben. I mean, people said he gave the ball away. I don't know. Let me see the stats, because I just didn't really notice him other than when he tried some tackles and they failed. But so I had 8 touches, which is less than Alonso, but he had a better pass accuracy rate than Alonso, so that's good. But that was kind of it. So I don't know, 5.5, something like that. Clutch.
It's a Saturday, and I don't want to break your heart on a Saturday. I only do that on Tuesdays.
Please no, because we play on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll just go 5. I thought he was really poor, to be honest. I thought he was really bad. I'm starting to see where people talk about like he doesn't make that pass quick enough. There was a time when Pulisic passed back to him, and he waited way too long to make that second pass, and then got the ball taken away from him, and that started a transition.
True, I remember that now. Yeah, true.
And I thought that happened a couple times with him today. So yeah, I would tend to say he was pretty poor. So yeah,
bro, 5. You can go as low as you want.
4.5. Honestly, I'd say 4.5.
Fair dues. Con for Ruben.
I'd give him a 5. I wasn't really too impressed. But in his defence, he hasn't played in how long now? So what was we expecting? You can't be too harsh on him. So I'm just gonna say a 5 and leave it at that, bro.
That is fair. I'll switch it back up to a 5. That is fair.
Fair. And then Pice, finish it off for us.
Yeah, I kind of go along with the defense of him, not playing as much recently, so can understand the rustiness. I'll go over 5. I mean, I do give players a bit of leeway when they come back into the team, even if it is a substitute appearance. So, yeah, not sure how many minutes he'll get from now on to the end of the season, but yeah, he did have a couple of bad moments, but rustiness tax, I think.
For sure. I mean, for me, it was just frustrating that he is now back fit. We played a formation with 2 8s, and he came on when we switched to having 2 6s, and he had to play in the 6. That's just disappointing, because we all know he's much better as an 8 than he is as a 6. Because from a 6, he's not supposed to run, especially when we just took the lead. I guess we didn't, because that goal didn't count. Because obviously initially that goal that didn't count from Ziyech was literally 20 seconds or 30 seconds after the 3 subs were made. But yeah, let's give him that 5, and let's finish it off on Thomas Tuchel for the first time in ages. Because for the last, I guess we did it for the last game, but for the 2 before that we didn't, because obviously he wasn't present. We won. That's about the only good thing he did, in all honesty. But because we won, I'm going to give 5, but that's as high as I'm going to go. I think I just cannot comprehend. Like, fair enough, if you think the whole Pulisic Havertz, the way they were, works, fair enough. But surely 20 minutes into the game, you see, like, it's not working. Like, surely. At least tell them, like, switch around for 10 minutes and then see what happens. If it then doesn't work either, you can switch it back around. But the fact that we left it the very same, other than Pulisic and Kante then switching at the start of the second half, to me, it's just mind-boggling. Like, I just do not comprehend how you would ever come to that idea. And also the same goes for, especially if he is throwing digs at Lukaku after, I guess we come back to the same thing. If he is forced to play Lukaku from above, but the way Tuchel talks, he doesn't, like, I feel like Tuchel would be more annoyed if he had to do that than he seems. But maybe I'm misjudging that. But yeah, I agree that Lukaku should have started today on the back of the last 2 because he scored. But again, you could have just taken him off. You could have taken him off at half time. You could have taken him off after an hour. But instead, he didn't come off at all. But again, the 3 subs did, well, 2 of these 3 subs, especially in Alonso and Kovacic, were still a big reason, in my opinion, why we won the game in the end. Hence why I'm not going to go super low. But I wasn't happy with the game plan. Like, I don't even see a game plan. I'll ask you that now, Pice. Do you see what our game plan is? Because I don't see it. You can't say we use the wing. You can't say we play direct. You can't say we just cross. You can't say we play quick passing football. You can't we just pass it around and then hope an individual player does it. That's essentially what our plan seems like. And it seemed like that essentially since Juve. And that's a big problem for me. And we need to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of get the idea with like the Pulisic in the middle thing because like generally he's very, very good at getting out of tight areas. The Palace midfield today wasn't very quick. So I think having Pulisic in there would, I think, he was trying to potentially have him in there to find the pockets, find the spaces, then link up with Lukaku, drive forward, take shots and stuff. It just didn't really work. Palace's press was very, very good. They were more compact than I think maybe Tuchel was expecting. Like, this is one of the first times I've seen them defend that well under Vieira. They're usually very, very attacking. So I think that was probably part of the game plan, playing Pulisic central to find the pockets, etc.
Fair, I get that. But as in when we play, do you see a game plan? Because it doesn't seem like the players have a real idea of how we want to attack.
Today, not really, because as I said, I didn't really understand the formation and why we played it. Because as I said, like Lukaku didn't help himself, but we also didn't help Lukaku. So he was isolated up there. The wingers were too wide. It just didn't really make sense to me. The eights didn't play well, or it didn't really work. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't like to see this again if it's the same personnel. Maybe if it's different lineup, maybe it'll be different. I don't know. Like maybe it's just the lineup, maybe it's just the game. I'm not sure.
We've played great in this formation as well when we played Spurs most recently in the Premier League. We were fantastic, I thought.
That was more like two strikers though, right? It wasn't
No, it was the 4-1-4-1 because Havertz didn't even play. Remember?
Who played up top? Who was the other guys then?
It was Lukaku, Cho, I think.
Lukaku was
Ziyech.
left wing. Cho was left wing, I think. Ziyech right wing. Put Cover and Mount as the 8s, Georgie as the 6.
Oh, right, yeah. That was all right.
That was because
it's not my favorite.
You remember, like that was when we seen like the combination between Ziyech and Mount, and it was really good.
That was the thing that was so great about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just the personnel.
It's weird because for me, this is the one where I feel like we're going to get the most out of it. Not today because the way we played it with Lukaku, the way Lukaku played. Because against Spurs, I also thought Lukaku was way more mobile, moving around more. He still didn't have a good game, but it was certainly much better than he was today. So it's not like Lukaku is always like this. That's also why I was like, when we initially had that argument or whatever about Lukaku, I was like, fair, but he's already done it better. So,
whatever the game plan was didn't work. I mean, they had a week to work on this pretty much. I was reading like on the Chelsea app, they were talking about, build up, Tuchel try something different. Tuchel's obviously prepared this with Pulisic in the middle and Havertz on the left and stuff, but it just didn't really work. And I obviously Tuchel's, he understands that. I'm pretty sure he's not stupid enough to think it worked well. So, I don't think we'll see.
Sooner.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see a triple sub, but again, I think 70 minutes, I would like to see at least Pulisic and Havertz switch at half time. I don't really understand why that didn't change.
Also,
I mean,
if that was the change we were going to make, right, to change to this formation, what was the point of bringing Ruben on for Jorginho? Because Jorginho didn't have to come off, and he definitely didn't like. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I thought Ruben was coming on to play as an 8, then I would have seen that logic. But if he came on to play as a 6 anyway, just leave Georgie on and make sure you have a third sub left just in case you get an injury. Like that was a pointless sub for me.
Was Saul on the bench as well?
Yeah.
Was he on the bench? Yeah, see, I'm surprised he didn't come on and play as a 6. That's very surprising to me.
Not good signs for Saul if Ruben, finally back from injury, comes on immediately. But I suppose apparently had a great week of training. But sorry, to push you for a rating, I went 5. What would you go for?
I'm going to push for a 5 just because he brought Alonso on and Alonso got the assist. So I could probably go low because this was one of the games where I didn't really agree with some of the decisions. But I'll go over 5 because we won. If we drew,
Fair
it would have
dues.
been probably lower. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
we
for
just
sure.
snuck another victory somehow. Like, we can't keep doing this, but
No,
or maybe
exactly.
we can because we're Chelsea. It's a Chelsea thing. Maybe we just like maybe when we look back at the end of the season, we look at the results and we go, "Fucking hell! How many times did we win 1-0?" Like, I don't know.
1-0, 2-1. Yeah, no, exactly.
Nothing with this club makes sense anymore. Like, it just doesn't. Nothing makes sense. It's never easy. It's never. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the Juventus game was so good because we battered a top European team 4-0 when we lost the away leg.
And we could have won by more as well.
Yeah, that was like the pinnacle. That was so good. That was so much vibes. It was amazing. I just want to go back to that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Con, rating for Tuchel today?
I'm going to give Tuchel a 5.5. I didn't understand the Kai and Pulley thing. Like, he obviously had these reasons for doing it, but it was clear it wasn't working. And the fact he didn't even tell him to swap in game really frustrated me. The fact we waited so long to make a change frustrated me. The fact with Lukaku, right? Whether it's his fault or not, if he's not in the game, switch something up because clearly there's a problem. Whether it's Lukaku's problem or the team, switch something up because it wasn't working. Saying that, the subs he made today were good, but then again, bringing on Kova is always going to work for you regardless what situation you're in my opinion.
Very true. And again, the question is, why did you have to bring Kova on? Why didn't he start?
Yeah. But then you could have Lil in mind because we do play Tuesday, don't we? So you just don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But still.
Then again, Thiago Silva will probably start.
And just before that, we had 2 weeks off. Like, we should be so rested right now.
You'd think you'd rest Thiago Silva before Kovacic, right? But it's what it is. I'd say 5.5.
Fair. And then Clutch, finish it off for us.
I've been saying this for weeks that things like this are just going to keep building. I got to be harsh on him. I got to give him like a 3. I think that was really poor. I hate criticizing him because I do love him, but I think criticism is the only way like you're going to change. And you need to understand, like, I do think he understands what he did was wrong, but at the same time, it's just Lukaku playing 90 minutes when it's not working, and Pulisic and Havertz just playing out of position all the time, not working. Things just keep, like, the only thing position-wise is Ziyech. We change the formation to fit him, and it's working. So why are we not having that same energy for other players? Why are we trying to do cute things to have... You just play your players in your best position. Havertz, I understand a little bit because you don't know his best position. I can get that a little bit. But Pulisic, we know what we're going to get when we play him out of position. We're going to get a player that doesn't really work and is going to be more of a passenger than he is going to be a help to us. So I think today I'm going to give him a 3 just because it needs to be said at one point. Like,
I don't disagree, mate. I don't disagree, if I'm honest. But because we won, I went for the 5 regardless. Shall we stay live until the penalty is taken? Because according to this private chat here, because Pice and Clutch seem to be watching the game, City just got a 90th minute penalty. Scored?
They scored. Mahrez scored, yeah, 2-2.
Very nice. So that's the 2-2, meaning Spurs don't catch us. And
there's 7 minutes at a time as well, I think.
And how much is left of that?
I think they've just gone into it.
5 minutes on my screen.
5? Is it 5 minutes? Yeah.
I'm at 91-26.
I know it's 2-2.
I haven't even had the penalty taken yet, so I don't know.
Loads of people were just spamming Mahrez on Twitter, so I gathered he scored.
There you go. There you go. Mason Mount just tweeted a picture of him on the physio bench saying ... loading ... So maybe that means he's back for next week. Who knows? But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to round it out here. I mean, obviously, after the Lukaku thing took a while, we were kind of expecting this to take a while. But in the end, I think we all lost a little bit of our energy because that's Chelsea's fault. Don't blame us because when they play like that, we're only going to have a lot of energy to talk. But that's usually why I start with the defenders because it's less interesting to talk about them unless they screw up. And then when we lose energy, we get the energy of just being annoyed or praising of our forwards. gets us get going again. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to round it out here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. I appreciate my 3 guests. Of course, links to their social media is down in the description, and of course, Pice's website as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, I did tell you at the very beginning, but not for a minute. So if you're still here, I appreciate you very much. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button for me. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we'll see you.